Unfortunately, he lives in the UK, so his time zone's different.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Gonna let the preview play for a second here. All right, we're live. What's up, Kiryu, Jess, Kamikaze? XS is not here, unfortunately. RIP. But we are here today. It is the second FlowFam podcast, or whatever you want to call it. Hi, Rixo. And we are joined by Valk, Soul of an Artist, Momo, Lay, and Final Flame. Kiryu is going to be in chat, probably just chatting with everybody. Hey, Dante, Dean, everybody pouring in. Make sure to drop a like on the stream. We're going to go through a list of topics today, but first, let me ping my Discord real fast. Everyone else, is anyone Final Flame, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, man, no problem. You know me, Final Flame, OG, Wangsheng Funeral Parlor, Finals Tavern, old has-been YouTuber, but, coming back. Pyro over Meta, that kind of thing. What's up, everybody?
All right, and we have Lay 7.
Just guy likes Genshin, watch content. I irresponsibly spend my money on this game.
Momo.
Hi, my name is Momo. I like to talk about Genshin Impact, and I have 0 brain cells left after yesterday.
Perfect. Soul.
Huh? I'm sorry, what?
Perfect. And Valk.
Hey, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm
That's all I got.
I make content. Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Honestly, I'm
Alzheimer's
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the announcement set up.
no,
Look, man,
you're good.
I showed up 30 minutes early and played a video game, and now we're doing this. So, it's fine.
Heck yeah. So now you all know what our icons are on Discord. You can see us light up in the bottom
Yeah,
left hand
Valk just
corner.
doesn't exist, I guess.
Oh, well, I did introduce him sort of, but
Sort of. You didn't even say anything.
He did say so.
yeah.
I didn't hear him. All I heard was.
You talked over him.
Yeah, it's okay. So, couple differences from last time. I changed the layout a little bit. I'm gonna mute myself when I'm not talking, so you guys will have less keyboard noises. When I am talking, I can't avoid it. Sorry about that. What else do we got going on over here? My brain is poop. Oh, okay, we're gonna answer some questions that we had last time. In the description of my video, there's a feedback form. If you guys want to fill that out, like give us any advice or feedback or questions, that would be awesome. Drop a like on the video. Yeah, and with no further ado, we're pretty much just gonna jump into the topics. I'll try to move us on when we're getting to like a slow point. No one has anything else to say. All right. So first of all, we're going to answer a previously asked question. And that would be like, what made the panelists start Genshin Impact? So I guess we can go kind of like one by one and discuss briefly why we started the game. First,
Fine by me.
yeah, I guess for me first, I just started the game because I was bored. There really wasn't much to do. There weren't many good games out, and I just beat Breath of the Wild because I was a late Breath of the Wild player. And I was like, well, hey, look, this is kind of like that, except a live service game. That was literally the reason I started playing it. All I knew about it is that everyone hated it. So, yep.
Interesting, man. Personally, here for me, I joined it because I thought this was gonna be like an ultimate anime co-op dungeons and raid game with elements, and the combat system looked awesome. Unfortunately, I got none of that, except the combat system is still awesome.
Oh, you must have been so disappointed.
Oh, I was very disappointed. Very.
I literally joined day one because my friend was like, "Hey, there's this game Genshin Impact. Want to play with us?" I was like, "Bro, I don't want to play this. I want to go back to my League of Legends." Then he sent me a very spicy picture of Jean, and I can. That day I got on and spent $2,000 for her and didn't get a single copy. felt bad, man.
Oh, that's a yikes.
Well, I guess I joined the game. I was on Twitter. I know, leave me alone. And one of my friends was playing the game. I saw the ads for it. Thought it was gonna be garbage. And one of my friends, who I don't know why I associate with them because they an anime game, was like, "Hey, Soul, this game's on. Play it with me." I'm like, "No." She's like, "Oh, it's co-op." I'm like, "All right, I'm on it, Chief." And then I got to the part where Devalin was in there. Skipped school for 3 days. Didn't play Genshin Impact. And yeah, that's the story of how I got C's, my first C ever in my high school career.
Awesome. So you probably see him in chat, Kabir. He convinced me to download this game. Like a lot of other people here, I thought it was like dog shit. So I mean, I just downloaded it and I really enjoyed it, and now I'm here on a podcast talking about it. So I must have liked it, apparently.
It's debatable.
Just a little bit. You like to just.
I make content on the game and I play the game and I hate it. So
It has its moments though.
Well, for me, Path of Exile on console is terrible, and Heist came out and the game was literally unplayable and it kept crashing. So around this time, I was like, I need a new main game to play. And sure enough, a week later, Genshin was coming out, and I kind of played it, and I really, really liked it at the beginning. And it was really fun until I reached the end game. And then I was like, what end game? And that's the story.
God, we must.
Hey.
I don't understand why we still play this game. We all expected something completely different than what we got.
Hey, I expected Gene.
Eh.
I expected it to be bad, and I honestly was pretty pleasantly surprised. Like, I mean, I do have issues with the game, but you know.
There you go. If you
I
don't,
think
then
the game, if you look at it as like an actual game, like a 40-hour experience, like what one you pay for, I think it's fantastic. It's just whenever you finally get to the end of it, and it's a game as a service. It's a game as a service with no actual end game you can actually play. So there's no incentive to play other than logging in once a year, going and spending maybe 2-3 weeks to catch up on the content, and then you just don't play the game again for another year. And that's kind of how this game is, because it's really slow update cycles with not a whole lot to do.
but I mean,
But as a
like,
base game, I think it's good.
like, but when I think the reason why we all play Genshin still is like, when it's bad, it's horrible, but when it's good, it's amazing. What Genshin does good, it does really well. Like, the Chasm, I've heard people have been disappointed with it. I think those people are on meth. I think the Chasm is
No.
the best place we've gotten.
That's fast. Chasm's good as mess.
Chasm
Anybody
is
that's
amazing.
saying the Chasm is trash is liar.
Yeah, like, and like, we're kind of at a point where the community is not, like, they're not happy with anything. Like, the update came out, this update, I will be the first person to rag on Genshin whenever they do something stupid like the game eco changes that just happened again. But I don't understand why people weren't excited for this, because we got a Dainsleif story quest, a new character, a character quest for that character, a new region that's almost as big as 3 of the Inazuma Islands. We got, and it was, it's been hyped up for so long. We got everything that a big update would give us. I don't understand why people weren't excited for it.
Hey, bro, can you please not ever say Dainsleif's name again on this podcast? Because every
Yeah, I'm
time
sorry,
I
man.
hear
That's
this,
not,
I
yeah,
just-
sorry.
Bro, you
I'm
need to
bad.
get over that. Come on, man. You're gonna have to see him. We're gonna keep seeing him until, and we're gonna keep not getting him. So you need to accept it.
Wait so long.
You sound like you're trying to speak through a pillow.
I thought he was having a seizure from me mentioning Dainsleif so much.
I know. He probably is. Somebody want to go check on him?
Yeah, it's like Lord Voldemort's name. You can't say that in front of Leia.
I'm sorry. Can I say the D word?
All right. So let's see. We have a couple other questions, but they actually fit into our topics. So we're not skipping them, but we're skipping them. And then we're going to move into the actual topic. First topic is going to be, I guess since we were talking about 2.6, we can talk about like how 2.5 went going into 2.6, kind of like how we felt about 2.5 at the end of the patch, moving into 2.6. And then the topic's going to be Endgame for Genshin. So let me go ahead and update the topic box, and you guys can get started.
Quick question. Is this 2.5 or 2.6 that we're currently on?
We're on 2.6.
The 2.6.
Okay. Look, I don't pay attention. I think I kind of already said my piece on it. 2.6, I was really excited for it because it's literally everything that we've ever wanted from an update, and it was good. But 2.5, the coffee event was cool, I guess. Like, there was
All right, let's be
nothing-
real, okay? 2.5 was trash, but because 2.5 was trash, it made 2.6 even better. Just be real.
I mean, I agree with 2.5 was trash, but I don't think just because a previous
Man,
update
it made
was terrible makes
2.6
the next
a
update
lot better.
2.5 was garbage. I know like half the people like in my server just quit playing the game, and like my views are down by like 40%. So
Yeah.
people were not playing
Everyone's
Genshin.
down across the board. A lot of Genshin tubers either quit or they're down like I'm down. I think I'm 150k below what I normally do
Yeah.
as far as like monthly views.
I mean, hey, they can keep quitting.
Well,
you know, I'm fine with that.
Okay, well I'm kind of lying.
Flo said, "I
because-
want to grow." So
I'm
give me
kind
the
of
fans.
lying because I got more views last month than ever, and it's probably because you know why? It's because I'm the first person to complain, and now that the game's bad, people want to hear someone complain, so that's probably why. But like near the end, like the last 2 weeks of last month, my views like died. Like as soon as I quit complaining all the time, it just died because people don't care what's going on right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be excited for.
I feel like the 2.5 update, the only good thing I liked about it was that they tried that Enkanomiya update or event thing. Like if they do more events like that where they just take a map like and just give us a bunch of stuff to do there for like and the event lasts the whole patch, like I like that. I think that's a good idea. But it's obvious that they spent like the entire patch just testing that pretty much and then throwing a bunch of random nonsense at us. And it was pretty boring. It was
But I mean, I thought it was cool because like, can you imagine if they reset the chest and dragon spine and give us a new map just for that?
yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying is I really liked that event, and I hope that they do a lot more events like that and less like the the coffee one. But
Yeah,
you know,
a lot
that
of
was
people forget, but that's not the first time they've done that because they did that for Mooncake, or sorry, not Mooncake. That's the real world. The Moon Chase Festival. They put chests back in a place that we've already explored.
Flo, are you telling me you don't like waiting 5 years for a drink to pour? I don't know what you're talking about. That's
I
kinda
love that
weird.
event. I think you're on.
The good
I-
part
I'm
about
over
that
it.
event, other than the actual like mini game, was in my opinion was like the character stories. Those
Yeah.
were pretty lit.
I'm
Oh yeah.
I'm such a
It was
filthy
fun.
casual, and I liked the character stories, but I did not like the gameplay of that event.
It was fun for me because I played it wrong and made my chat mad. I played it live and did not play it the way it was intended to be played, and it was so funny. Everybody in chat was like trying to tell me the right answers, and I was like, well, it didn't come from my head, so it's wrong until I prove it to be right. And they did not like that, but I thought it was funny. So
What was
Did
the
you
name
play
of
it like
that?
that one? Did you play it like that one burger flash game? I can't remember what it's called, but like where you just
Papa's-
make a
Papa's
burger full of
Burger, yeah.
mayonnaise. Yeah.
Papa's Burger, yeah, the cum burger. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Go on, Liz.
What was the name of that event where you could play multiple teams of two? You know, they put you.
Hakushin, Iki.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Hakushin. I thought it was Becky.
I don't know why, but I saw more people praise the coffee event than that one.
That event sucked. It was so unoptimized
I mean,
on PlayStation.
The
It was
problem
horrible.
with Hakushin Iki is that if you don't have characters built, you're gonna suffer. It's just that simple.
Well, not really. It gives you 6 trial characters. So I
Like-
mean,
One of my good friends, who's a very filthy casual, still only like AR-53, been playing the game for over a year. He came to me and was like, bro, this Iki event sucks. And then he was like, bro, this coffee event's pretty fucking lit.
If it wasn't for Hakuken Iki, I would completely hate 2.5 because I already think 2.5 is the worst patch we ever had.
I disagree.
It's just there is literally nothing there. They want you to re-explore an area you already explored. The coffee event, to each their own. I thought it was stupid, but like I said, to each their own. I don't even remember the other event.
It
The
was
only
the-
one I
it was
remember
the
is
Mario
Hakuken
Maker.
Iki because that event's actually I like that event. You just wave clear. Ooh, fun.
I feel like 2.5 kind of was pretty forgettable. I mean, like for me, that Onkonami event, I got done in like 2 days, and then I like literally didn't go back to that area. I thought it was
Yeah.
cool, but you got
There
done
was-
very quick.
There was like nothing there. If you actually like played the event, if you sat down and played it in one day, you'd be done in like 10 minutes or like maybe an hour. Because I sat down, I cleared Enkonomio the day it came out. I cleared it in like 3 days after it came out. I had it 100%ed, but I think I only played it for like 3 hours. And the new one that came out for that event was like half that. If you sat down and played that event in one sitting, it'd take you like an hour. Because after you get so many of the gems, it just tells you where the rest of the chests are. So,
Oh yeah, the max, whatever. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then you just go run around and play
But I guess
Exploring.
while we're on this topic, this is something I just noticed because believe it or not, I am playing Genshin in the background because I can turn off my brain while I play this game. Did they say that those mushroom enemies were going to be in the game? Because I just noticed them last night and I had no clue they would be there.
Yeah, they did. They announced them. They
Yeah.
just didn't announce it during the stream preview, but they announced them during the Chasm notes.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't even watch the stream, so that's probably
They
why I
were
didn't know that.
briefly in frame, I think, for like a couple of seconds. But no one said anything.
Nice. Well, they are teasing Sumeru with a new update, so that's cool. There are places in the chasm where it's just like giant, bright green, just like grass, and there's giant like dendro slimes everywhere. And if you look up, there's like really, really, really bright orange light. So that's cool. I'm assuming it's Sumeru because we know that chasm is the gateway. So
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, so it's confirmed that Subaru's right beside the chasm.
That's what people have been saying.
They say in lore that like Stone Gate is the gateway to Liyue and Chasm is the gateway to Sumeru.
Yeah, I think it would be. I think it would be very surprising if it wasn't next patch. And considering how slow, it's kind of what I was gonna.
It's not gonna be because they would have teased it.
You think they would have teased it? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Because
the patch
they did
either.
it before Inazuma came out. They
Then-
did like 2 updates before. I think it's gonna be not the next update, but the update after.
That would make sense too. They could do like something in between, but I mean, yeah, it's right around the corner.
Yep.
And that'll certainly, you know, like keep the Genshin drama at bay for a while. But moving into our
Drama
next,
don't care, man. Drama don't care.
right?
I was
But
gonna say, man, you're on something. If you're on mad copium, that's not how that works.
yeah, I was just saying, I was just joking. Really, I don't actually believe that. But I mean, people are gonna complain no matter what. But our next topic is Endgame, and so you know, this was like 2 of the questions we got. You know, what do we think about Endgame? Like, what would we like to see as Endgame for
Endgame?
Genshin?
Let me just say, I have literally nothing to say on this subject because I have no idea what in-game you're talking about.
Well, we're talking.
So
We're
much
talking
potential.
about.
He's talking about what you want in in-game. What do you mean, Valk? We know there's no in-game. What do you want?
Yeah,
in
that's why
in-game?
we're talking about it.
Can I say my piece? Because I've had this idea for a long time.
Sure.
Say it.
Yeah,
I want like a horde rush mode, like Abyss style game mode. Like you walk in and it's like escalating in difficult enemies, and the more enemies you kill, the more rewards you get. So like, let's say it's like Abyss, like the highest floor of Abyss, where it's like the weird arena. It can be like that, and it starts out being like hilly churls, and it slowly ramps up to being like treasure hoarders, and then Hikiri, and then knights, and then the really big hilly churls. I don't know what they're called, Lala churls, I think. And it just slowly ramps up and up and up, and each time you can't heal because that'd make it way too easy to finish. And there's no
Alright, people.
timer. Just make it as far as you can. And then at the end you get some kind of rewards for how far you get. And I don't want it to be like oh, you're on a time gate thing. Like, make the rewards, don't make them like super crazy, but like just something like, I don't know, like 20k Mora if you make it to pretty much the end. Like 20k Mora is not a lot of Mora, but like to the people that want to play the game, they'll play the game for 20k Mora because there's no other way to get that back, you know, efficiently on a Genshin at least. But like it's something, or maybe a co-op Abyss is something people wanted for a long time. It wouldn't necessarily make it easier unless you have just a whale friend. because co-op enemies HP doubles. So, and their power doubles. So, it wouldn't really make it easier unless you just have a guy who C6 everything, but that's something that people really want. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I guess like maybe have chest respawn after like maybe like once every other year or once every year. Let the chest respawn. Because I mean, Mondstadt and Lua, they give you like nothing in terms of primo gems for chests. They give you like the small ones don't give you anything, and the big ones only give you like 2. So it's not gonna be breaking the bank, and it'd be a lot of work, and it'd keep player attention high, and people would like it. So I mean, from a business perspective, it's not a horrible idea. Stuff like that would make in-game a lot more bearable.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Soul. My favorite kind of game modes are horde game modes because I just want to stand in one spot with a bunch of enemies flying at me, and I just want to like spam my rotations. You know, like that's what I love about. The only time I like Abyss is when the floors have enough enemies where I can do like, you know, like more rotations. It feels good. I'd love to see some kind of like arena or something like that. That would be awesome. Like the longer you survive, the harder like the level goes up for the enemies, but you get more rewards like based on per minute that you live or something.
I don't really have any ideas per se for Endgame, but do you mind if like I briefly talk about what I got on stream at Walrus the other week and was saying?
I would be deeply offended if you did that, and I highly suggest you don't.
All right, I'm sorry, bro.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
But like, I got on stream with him. He let me on, and I just wanted to say, like, I have hope still because I've been playing gachas for so long that there will be end game. I've played gachas where there's never been in game, no matter how many years, and I've played gachas that have eventually got it, and that's why I have hope. The last game I came from, Azure Lane, it took 3 years of the game's life to add in-game. And when they did it, it was amazing. Until this day, people are still happy. So that's what I just briefly wanted to say. Like, I still have hope that they will add in-game one day.
I've played a lot of gacha games, and the last one I played before I came to Genshin was Puni. Their in game was awful. It was horrible. It was called Score Attack, and it had been there since day 1, and they only added it. The only thing they did was they added harder enemies. Their form of in-game was essentially every time a new character came out, a new event came out, and the event was catered to the new character, to the point where like it was pretty much impossible to win if you didn't have the new character. So if Genshin does that, which knowing them, they probably will, yeah, that would suck. I would be very sad. But
for me personally, it's raids. Honestly,
Same.
yeah,
like because there's no reason to do co-op in this game. I'm gonna be real. Like unless you just want to hang out with your friends, there's literally zero incentive to do co-op. Raids could revitalize that, make it like each person can bring their 4-man team, make it ridiculously hard, kind of like a Destiny raid. And incentive to do it is make it so it's a big endeavor to actually undertake. And at the end, you have a chance at like maybe an exclusive artifact set or something, to where it's something that you could keep doing and doing and doing with a very slow grind, but make it not cost resin is the key word here, because then people can just keep doing it and it's something for people to do constantly. But knowing how gacha games go, it'd probably be time gated to like once a week or something stupid.
I mean, even if it was once a week, that would give people actual incentive to grind for artifacts. Because, like, let's say you lose, right? Because you're gonna lose. Like, it's a raid. It's pretty much impossible to win. So you lose your first time, and you're like, okay, I've got a week to prepare for next raid. Let's go. But there is a problem with that. Like, I'm not sure if you know this, Valk. Genshin is the most unoptimized game I think I've ever played in my life. It's horrible. Like, if you're in co-op, and I know because I play co-op a lot with my subscribers, we'll be in VC and we'll play, it lags so hard if there's too many particles on the screen. Like, if you have, like, albedo and, like, a bunch of, like, albedo, I mean, hell, Venti alone lags the game if you're on mobile or PS4. But if you're on, like, Venti with albedo and Zhongli or whatever, just, like, a bunch of crap, your game lags so hard. It's not even funny.
bro.
So that probably wouldn't work for at least not for a majority of the players. And I know that like PC players don't have that problem, but you also got to keep in mind that the main audience is mobile players. So that's kind of the mobile players pretty much ruin any chance of us getting like permanent in-game content because it's way too much work, and it'd be really hard to get it to work on like smaller devices. But I guess Mihoyo's plan is, maybe in 7 years when the end of the game is out, mobile phones can hold 18 billion gigs of data. So I guess we'll see.
These phones do be getting better over time. The phones we have now will be obsolete by the time we even get to like Natlin and freaking Snezhnaya.
Hey, he's not wrong about the game crashing. The reason
the game do.
The day I knew I had to upgrade my PS4 was when I got Klee, and in co-op I used Klee and Venti, and my PS4 just died. It just died.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, what the hell?
You can ask Final. He joined my live stream one day while I was doing Haiki Iki, or Hai whatever, Iki, while I was doing that. And the enemies just would not spawn in because the PlayStation 4 is so poorly optimized. And there will be times where I'm doing Abyss and people are like, "Oh, you have a minute and 30 seconds." It's like, no, I don't. I have a minute and 30. I got like a minute pretty much, because it takes about 10 seconds for them to spawn in, and then it takes about another 10 seconds for them to die, and to consider them as dead. So I get more like a minute. I get a minute and 10 seconds per floor. Horrible.
I did not miss Abyss on the PS4. That is not fun.
It was awful, man. It's horrible.
I don't know what you're talking about. It seems like a great time.
Yeah, man. It's fine.
You go try it.
Just
Anyway.
sat bro.
Actually.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
but
go download Genshin on my Xbox.
yeah.
On the Xbox. Oh my god, yeah, it's still not on the Xbox. I remember
Yeah.
when they said it was gonna be on Switch.
There's no way this game will run on the Switch.
It will not.
there's
I
no
say that
way.
all the time. There's no way.
All right. Well, this actually does kind of transition into the next topic, which is how do we improve co-op? And I think, we kind of talked about that. Does anyone have
Dude,
anything to add?
tell you, no. I have so much crap I can say about how we can improve co-op. As a co-op enthusiast, I literally play co-op all the time until I got recognized once, and I haven't played since. Co-op, there's no reason to play it, and here's my forte. Maybe just an idea. Increase mob drops in co-op. That'll give us a reason to farm. Maybe increase the more they give, the items they drop. Maybe give us EXP that's not 100% useless and doesn't do anything other than sit there and look pretty. I mean, come on, give us something. Or maybe, I don't know, the enemies, instead of making them twice as strong, make them actually more unique. I mean, yeah, I know you're supposed to make enemies stronger if two people are playing, but like, who cares if they're stronger if all you're doing is jacking up their HP? I mean, I'm still gonna one-shot them.
Yeah, I would like to see there just be like that they could just multiply the mobs. Like you got two people, there's like twice as many mobs. I think that would feel better. And also like increasing rewards would be good. Personally, just because I don't think anyone's mentioned this yet, I would love to see more like I'm one of those like MMO gamers that loves just like hanging out in the city and just like straight up vibing or whatever. And so like I love the idea of like the teapot having like more activities that like we can do in co-op, that like because the teapot in co-op is just awkward right now. Like it's just like you just stand there with your friends and it's like, okay,
Like, hey, you want to see my giant stone dick I built 3 days ago?
Sure, man.
Are you telling me you're not making time trials or doing the dummy test or archery test?
Yeah, let me just
Feels
pop
bad,
in my
man.
teapot, even though it's in maintenance right now and I can't move anything.
Oh my god, yeah. Every day.
They've
I
actually
put on
been adding
Genshin.
stuff to the teapot though for like co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people like if you want to get someone to co-op first, you
Who
got
wants
to
to
make
go
a
into the
friend.
teapot?
And the fact is, I know this is kind of a joke, but also not. Most people that play Genshin don't have friends. And if they do,
Yeah.
it's really hard to make friends on Genshin. I think I've played with like 2 guys who I knew before I like made content that I actually kind of played with regularly, and both of them don't play the game anymore because Genshin sucks. Oh hey, I got a ping.
Gist of it for everybody. Everybody had friends that started and now they're not here no more.
I just got a random Discord message. Someone asked me to be my friend. That's cool.
Oh,
You should be their friend.
you got a friend
Bring him on
now.
the podcast. Bring him on the podcast.
Even whenever my friends did play, we never.
Are you
we
serious? I
wouldn't
mean, I
talk about it.
can.
No.
We would never actually play it together because there's really no point.
Yeah.
Like we would sit there and
Are
we
you
talk about it, like I'm doing this. Look at my progress. Show each other artifacts, but we never actually.
Co-op's just more of a hassle, especially once you reach endgame, because you literally have your own team that's properly built, so you can just clear stuff even faster. Like, why basically handicap yourself?
Most people don't
Exactly.
do it for progress. They just do it to hang out with their friend. I used to have a buddy. We're not on good terms anymore, but they used to play co-op all the time. Like they used to love Genshin, and she was horrible at the game. She was absolutely terrible. And when I say terrible, I mean like she had a C2, she had a C1 Yoimiya with a signature weapon, who bought a C2 Kokomi and got the signature weapon on it. Had Zhongli on her team as well, and still managed to die. Had a C2 Kazuha. And she was just horrible at the game, to the point where like I had to get on her account one day and build her Yoimiya. With her characters, I was able to beat the hardest content in the game with like 32 stars. But she herself would die with Kokomi and Zhongli in her team. But I still played with her just because I wanted to. I mean, like most people don't play co-op just to clear things, unless it's like an event. Those people do. But most people that do that are the people that are like AR30 or something like that. I mean, God, and even still, like, if you join co-op now, like a co-op event, as soon as you join, it's already over. Because they've already killed the thing, so...
Yeah, the only time that I really played co-op was when I was, like, literally just turned AR 45, and, like, I needed help on my domains because they were too hard. Or, like, when I'm just messing around with my friends. Right now, there's not really, like, an incentive to go and seriously go to co-op. Anything like you said, Soul. It's more of like it's kind of like a handicap. So yeah.
Do y'all think co-op Abyss would be a horrible or a good thing?
It'd be one or the other, knowing Mihoyo.
I think it'd be hilarious.
It would be really funny, but I also think it would be like kind of broken if you got someone with like C6 5-stars to go carry you through Abyss.
Yeah, it would just be carry fest is all it'd be. Like, hey, whales get to flex their giant peens on people, and other people
Shoot,
get
man.
carried and get their
I'd be
primos.
hitting,
Selling runs.
Valk up. I'd be like, hey,
$5.
Valk, I know you got a C6 ride, and you looking to carry me?
That's literally what would happen.
I'd just be selling runs. I get a group of 2 other peeps, just sell runs. Like, okay, $5, we'll get you 36 stars.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
you're speaking my language, dude.
buses.
Open up
That's
a
what I'm
black
talking
market.
about.
Hey,
I'm
Valk.
gonna get that
I mean, at
return
that point-
investment on these C6s.
You know what's funny is that'd be cheaper. That'd be cheaper than just buying $5 worth of.
Exactly. And we just
That's
run
hilarious.
it. We just keep running it.
Oh boy.
I just
Yeah.
hit up the DMs. Hey Valk, I noticed you have a C6 5-star character.
Hey Valk, are you in need of $5 by any chance? And you know, I kind of need my Abyss you know.
Dude, I would
When-
open a stream and I'd be like, 1 sub equals 1 Abyss run. Let's go.
Yo, let's go.
Yo. Yeah, it would definitely open up
My
like a
Twitch
whole
stream.
new weird market. Like in MMOs where they like sell gold or whatever, like it would be like
Yeah, sure.
Genshin carries.
Jesus,
Yeah, man.
that'd
I
be
mean,
like in
MMOs
the-
do it too, like dungeons and raid carries on like the hardest stuff.
They'd open
Literally,
up.
you just have a rando sit in there.
You know those sites where they like sell products in a game. Like if you play Save the World, you know that there's like a site that sells like literally the best guns in the game. It'd be like that, but for whales looking to carry, you get it on like a sure, I shouldn't say that. You
Yeah.
you just like on a not so child friendly site, and instead of seeing the normal ads, you just see whales looking to carry and just Genshin Impact ads.
People in Walrus's Discord, the last time the energy amplifier came out, they asked me to come help them. I got so many people asking me to help them. I was like, bro.
Oh my god, I know, right? I didn't have that. I didn't. I say that I'm a competent Genshin Impact player, but I am not. I used to have people ask me to help them. What was the event where you had to fight the samurais in the first time the duplicate samurai showed up? I can't remember. It was something like that, and it was co-opable.
Yeah, it was like the
So many people
Vagabond.
asked me to help them.
I think
the Vagabond thing.
Vagabond. Yeah, you're right.
That was a good one.
that was a fun
Oh,
I helped a
event.
lot of people on that one.
Yeah,
Oh my god. She destroyed that.
I was actually I was actually gonna say, one thing I would like to see is, because in most like gacha games, whales literally exist just to flex on the free to play in like a bad way, like to like destroy them or something. I would love to see Genshin like make it so that, you know, you don't, maybe it's not necessary or anything, but like whales can help carry in co-op events, you know, like if they had a co-op raid, for
They
instance,
do
like you were
that
talking.
now.
Yeah, we do
Yeah.
we have some events like that, but I like that. Like I have a lot of fun doing that, like being able to help people get like 4 extra ores or whatever it is, like 20,000 mora. It just feels fun.
Uh,
I mean, you get to flex and you get to help somebody in need.
Right, exactly. It's
Yeah,
better than
and-
PvP.
For sure. And Lay, I can completely agree with so many messages of people filling my DMs. I'm insane at this game, you know. Kind of the best player in North America, so my DMs were just flooded. Now I'm terrible at this game.
Bro, I literally woke up that day the Energy Amplifier came out and I had 10 messages. It was all the same thing. Hey, bro, can your Eula help me out with this? Like, bro, what the
Yo,
heck?
bro, I know you have the ability to one shot. You know, I'll buff you if you just come in here and pop that burst real fast. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody wants the max score, man. That's why I always made it a rule before I helped anybody else. I'd solo it first for the max score. If I didn't solo for the max score, then I wouldn't help anybody.
Yeah. Anyone have anything else to add about co-op before we move on?
Yeah, it sucks. But other than that-
Yeah,
Alright,
are
I'm
there
good
any
now.
good things in chat? Any good questions?
Oh
Because I-
yeah, we haven't
It's chat,
stopped.
They don't have good questions.
We haven't stopped to see if anyone in chat has anything to add so far, but I mean, I don't know. I haven't really seen any like questions pop up as we've been going. The Rika said if Genshin had raids, the guilds would only take whales and reject those that don't have C3 or C6 R5, hence dividing the community more.
100% disagree. That you know,
Nah, that's a lie.
you know that there would be like a guild that's like only the top echelon of free-to-play players are allowed. You need to treat it
Yeah.
like a job.
There's
You-
also
you
gonna
would
be top
find
echelon
a
of
group.
whales, but I mean, that's every game. There's going to be cliques and exclusion. So all I
Yeah.
gotta say is get the fuck over it.
Like
Like,
easy
honestly.
air 60. Like no.
Like,
Like,
the thing is this, it's
go
not
and
gonna
join
it's
your
not
guild
gonna
with your
cause a
homies.
rift. Exactly. Find your homies, join a guild, or join your favorite content creators guild if they have room. You'll find the
Speaking of,
place.
I'm opening
That's
my
the thing.
guild.
You'll find
I
a
opened
You'll
place.
be
my
like,
guild.
but I ain't got no friends. Go meet somebody. Go talk. There's Genshin community is super active outside the game because there's no game to play.
I disagree. It's really
Exactly.
hard if you insert yourself in a community that's already established. They're not gonna like that. Maybe there will be like 1 or 2 people, but
That's all you need. 1 or 2 people. Those 1 or 2
That's all
people.
you need,
know 1 or 2
baby.
people.
Yeah. And then you form an army.
Yeah, I mean, I think having smaller guilds with 4-man raids would be a really good way for Genshin to move forward.
Oh yeah.
They could do what some gachas do, and you can have a guild boss that you can't kill, but you can see how much damage you do to it
Mhm.
as a whole entire guild.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Genshin would literally become like Clash of Clans. Because
God no, please
Somebody
no.
said, "How about 100-floor labyrinth event with leaderboard?" 100-floor
I
labyrinth.
did like the labyrinth event a lot. Like, I thought if
Yeah.
if they could juice it up a little bit or something, like sprinkle
Was
some
that the one
extra
with
spice in
Chichi
it.
Show?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's still
I
pretty
hated that
tame.
event. It was awful. I hated it.
I liked it a lot personally, but that's just
I
me.
kind of wish that event allowed co-op. That's the
why I
thing.
didn't like
Some
it.
of these events they release allow co-op, and then some of them don't, even though it seems like it should. And that's the thing. They don't really push co-op that much, even though it's a feature, and it feels just kind of wasted to a point.
Well,
I
I
mean-
mean, yeah, it's Mihoyo. Case in point, when's the last time somebody mentioned fishing? Other than nobody does fishing for fishing. People fish for the catch, and that's it. And pretty much every feature they add is completely forgotten about. It's kind of just there to be like, yeah, we have this and this and this and this and this. But I mean, we're never gonna touch it again, so
Mhm.
sorry.
That's
Pretty
part of
much.
why I like Honkai, because at least Honkai has like a weekly mission that you have to do a co-op raid, so you have to run with people.
You know, if they would just add refreshing weekly resin to the fishing little shops, I'd fish.
Oh yeah, I fish too. Hold up.
I'd mad fish. I'd clear out the ponds for some resin. There's not much I wouldn't do for resin.
Yeah, and that's
Honestly.
actually a thing I was gonna say is like if they add Endgame, rather than rewarding Primo Gems, I just think it would be better if they double stack on it. Cause like if you give us new content and then that content gives us resin, which gives us more content, like I think that's a good way forward too. Like
That's actually a great idea. We should run Mihoyo.
But I
take it
also
over right now.
I also do still want my Primo Gems. Like
Yeah, I do too.
right. It's just like I know that like a lot of people that think that we're not gonna get new Endgame or
Yeah.
whatever, it's because they're
I
like,
will
oh, we
ruin
can't
this
get
for us.
more Primo Gems.
honestly, these events that we get, if they just gave like a fragile resin, I'd play way more of the events.
For real. Or like
Yeah,
more books
word.
even.
Well, they give books. Not
Well,
many
yeah,
of them.
but, like, it's
They
never
did.
enough. You know what I mean? It's never
It's
like
never enough. That's why I'm saying just give us a fragile resin. Then we can just
But,
save that for whenever we need it.
I'm gonna pull a quote from Valk. It was one of his really old videos, like Glory Day Valk videos. He uploaded a video where he was like, "Dude, nobody's playing the Genshin events for these side pieces. We all know we're doing it for the primos. Like nobody's playing the latest Genshin event for what? That one mask fragment for a weapon and that 2 heroes wits. Everybody's doing it for Primo Gems. If you actually take a look back and look at how much the rewards are aside from the Primo Gems, it's all bad. They give you nothing. Like, the only reason why we like Primo Gems is because they've created a false scarcity for it. That's it. It's horrible.
Yeah.
okay.
Let's move
Uh,
on to the next topic. Unless Momo, do you have?
I was just gonna make a quick joke. Soul, are you telling me that it shouldn't take a month and a half to get a 5-star character? Or to pull a 5-star? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're right, man. Maybe I'll...
Personally, I
Yeah,
think
maybe
they
they're
should
gonna-
make it longer.
Yeah, maybe a year to build your favorite character. That seems reasonable. Yeah, I
Yeah, and
agree.
then lose your 50-50.
Yeah,
have to wait another year.
And
Sounds great.
maybe it just shouldn't be 50-50. It should be like a 25-75. And then
That sounds fair, yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe it takes like you have to lose 4 times, and then on the 5th time you get your guaranteed.
Sounds
It's
great.
reasonable. It's reasonable.
I don't know
talking
what
to
you
you
guys are
about
talking about. If I see
Let's
a
just
5-star
revert weapon
character I
banner.
want, I just get them.
Let's just revert. Oh yeah, same dude. I have a grand, and I'm ready to drop at least half of it to get you on. I will die on this hill. Oh, you know what? Let's just revert weapon banner to where you actually, instead of having to get 2 and then it's guaranteed, you actually have to get 10 and you have a 50-50 shot of it. How about that? That seems nice. That
That's
seems
awesome.
fair. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no. My wallet, not
What do you
gonna be in a
mean
good
your
position if
wallet?
that
You mean
happens.
Mahoyo's wallet?
No. My
Actually, after
wallet.
Yelan gets her hands on it.
I might have to
Mahoyo's
top
taking
up for
notes right
Elon.
now.
I don't know.
Man, you might have to. I already did.
I already did.
All
All
right.
right, we need to move on.
Yeah,
We're getting
yeah.
Mahoyo ideas.
So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the next topic is Sumeru's story going to be well written and deep, or is it gonna be kind of basic
shallow.
and shallow? Yeah.
It's gonna be shallow like a puddle. Guarantee you. It's gonna
You
be like
think so?
Inazuma again.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to find a dartboard, get some darts, cover your eyes, and throw it. All right.
yeah,
That's about
Accurate.
like that's your guess of anything Mihoyo Hoyoverse does. There's no telling. Could be good.
Yeah.
It could also be
If-
I have nothing to say. on this
Honestly,
topic.
The only problem I had with Inazuma is that it tried to do too much in too little time.
yeah. It tried to bottle. I say this all the time. If Raiden Shogun, if they would have just left her a villain, she'd be one of my favorite characters in this game. But they tried to bottleneck a redemption arc in there, and they didn't invest the time to make it good. And now we have, well, the milk meme.
Dongo milk.
I mean, there's literally a whole meme site that's dedicated to drawing different versions of Raiden Shogun being pathetic. That's where the crying one comes from. So I mean, yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, I kind of liked Inazuma's story. I did feel like, I mean, they introduced so many like deep concepts and sub stories, and then obviously like didn't flesh a lot of that out. And I mean, that's sad. Like I really would have liked them to slow burn it, but
That's not sad. That's just lazy.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, really, you know. But
Yeah.
But
I mean-
like, here's the problem. Genshin story's never really been good. I mean, let's be real.
I really like
go
it.
back.
I'm personally
Go back and play through it all again, and actually pay attention to the story. Like, pay attention. It's not that great. It's pretty much cookie cutter anime stuff.
well,
For
yeah.
the most part.
Well, yeah, but
I mean,
what
it's never been good. I think the reason why most people don't like the story now, and it's kind of we're kind of over it at this point. We're kind of like we're over the honeymoon phase. By the time we play the game, we're kind of seeing the story for what it is, and it's just not that great. But it's
Well-
not bad, but it's just not great.
I think that, like, to make a distinction between writing and like world building, I think that their world building is phenomenal, and that's what
It's amazing.
and
Read
that's
the lore for any of the characters
Exactly.
in the game. It's phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
why Sucre is one of my favorite characters, because Zhao and any character for the most part, with the exception of a few, have really good lore. But the problem is, like, if they made that like actually relevant, dude, this game would be so much better. But they don't. It just doesn't exist. Like, it might as well not even exist aside from passing references. Like Sucrose occasionally talks about flowers, but you wouldn't even know why unless you did her story. And, same thing for pretty much everything in the game now that I think about it. But
Again, I have
Yeah.
something to say.
go ahead.
Yeah. Late? Was that you? You
Alright.
going next?
No, I literally have nothing to say, so I'm just
Oh.
waiting for the topic.
All right. So like I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead.
you got something?
Go ahead.
All right, I'll go. So anyway, like I was gonna say, as long as Sumeru doesn't try to tackle too much, I think it'll be fine. I think the problem with Inazuma is that it tried to tackle way too much in literally 2 Archon quest time. Right. And that was
So
its
you're
real
trying to tell me
problem.
that wouldn't have messed up the pacing? What are you talking about? It's unreal.
Saying. But yeah, as long as Sumeru like picks one thing and focuses on it, it'll be fine. Because that's literally what Mondstadt and Liwa did. They picked one thing and they focused.
Well, we kind of already have hints to what it's going to be about, because we already know that they're like it's the battle for knowledge currently. And that there's also a kind of sub. Here's the problem I have: they're already setting up too much, because they said that it's going to be a fight for knowledge, and then they said that there's drama going on between the Archons or whatever, Lesser Lord Kusanali or whatever, and how they might not be the real one. And we also have, like, we know that the scholars there are going crazy. They'll just go out in the woods and just chant and then do nothing else. So, I mean, they're already setting up a lot, and I guarantee
I mean, but
you-
they set up Inazuma too.
Yeah, and look what happened to that.
Hey, I do have something to say. What the hell? I've never heard of the title Lesser Lord. What's that supposed to mean?
it's from Hinduism.
Raiden Shogun and Zhongli call her Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Yeah, it's a reference to Hinduism. So like, it's a polytheism.
Oh,
So they're greater
that's
and
the
lesser lords.
inspiration.
So that's kind of like where it comes from, like a layered polytheism.
So they're a god, but they're just a lesser god.
Well, they're the youngest Archon.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
they're yeah. In Hinduism, there's sort of like a hierarchy of God, like gods who create gods. Like imagine in Greek, you know, gods have children, like that kind of thing. Except it's different, but it's kind of like that.
Bro, if
Yeah.
I see one more person say that the Dendro Archon's gonna be a kid just because they're the youngest, I'm gonna pull my hair out.
It probably will be. Also, I
It
see
might
someone
be.
saying that I
Bro,
see someone saying I see someone saying I keep interrupting. I don't mean to. There's a really big delay on my end, so I don't know when it's safe to talk unless it's just silent for a while. So I'm kind of just guesstimating.
No
So I
problem, man.
apologize for that.
I mean, it's bound to happen with this many people. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think anyone here is either. So
I'm chilling.
But about Kusanali, I think it's based off Hinduism. Yeah, that's the inspiration for it. But it's in lore. Their explanation for it is that they're not only are they the youngest Archon, but they also they were trained by the old Dendro Archon, and that's why they call it Lesser Lord, because they knew that Archon was going to be the Archon before. If current Archon perished, so they called him Lesser Lord. Kind of just stuck. So they still call him that. So
Okay.
that's a little bit of lore for you.
Well, thank you, because I had just never heard that before.
Yep. And now I pray that it's Teresa from Honkai.
What do you mean? You don't want Mobius?
Yeah,
I want
Mobius.
Teresa.
Mobius for the win, bro.
Mobius.
Man, they're out here saying that she might end up being a little girl anyway, so I'm like, shit. Might as well throw Teresa in the game.
Mobius canonically is like 8, so.
Oh, well. Wait, I thought Mobius was a grown up and she was shrinking.
She's young. In the lore, there's an interaction with Eliza, I think that's the name of the elf, and they make a passing kind of comment that she's not as old as she looks, which,
Okay.
like, they don't say exactly, but they kind of heavily imply that she's not legal. So,
Oh, well.
I mean, she was
I-
around. She was a Mantis though, and Mantis is old as fuck.
yeah, she was. Keyword was. all of the gods in Honkai, for the most part, reincarnate, and I think that's kind of what she's referring to. So her current body is not that old. Her in general, like her, the idea of her, she's very old because she's based off of Boreas. So, I don't know.
Anyways, I have nothing else to say actually this time. So.
Yeah, I think we should probably move on.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if the Dendro Archon's gonna be like cause it. Let's be real. Okay, so all the Archons, they kind of done some such-ish so far in the story, each one.
true.
All I'm saying is the Dendro Archon is a child. I'm gonna pull my hair out because I hate the Lala
Same.
characters in this game.
Dang.
As
Well, you better hope that it's just like a little girl model instead of the child.
yeah, I'm definitely hoping that the Sumeru story is well done because they've introduced some really interesting motifs that I want to see represented well.
Hey, wait.
I mean, it's one of the regions we knew about, like, ever since the manga came out. And the manga came out before the game was officially released. That's one of the few regions that we actually knew about before the game started.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's like a lot of, I think they have the potential. Like it kind of feels like Mondstadt and Leeway were basic on purpose to introduce you to the world. It's kind of like childish and stuff. And Inazuma's a little darker. I'm hoping that Sumeru just continues that like descent into like, let's get more serious. Let's have more like actual stuff happen, you know?
True. If Dotori's there, then we Gucci.
Yeah.
Dude, in Honkai, they can't go one quest without killing somebody or like doing some really depressing take. Like, oh yeah, here's a character that dies every single day and she reincarnates knowing she's gonna die, and the only way we're gonna save her is by making it to where she doesn't even know who she is anymore. I mean, like, Honkai is really good at making you feel like you can make a difference, but you know in the end it's all gonna end up horrible again. I'm just waiting for Genshin to become that. I'm waiting, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think had Genshin come out the way they thought it was, or it wasn't going to be that popular, they would have gone down a more darker path by now. But I think now that they know that their game is so big, like they have a lot of eyes on them, if they do something like that, it'd be such a big story. Like if because this game, believe it or not, like I know that most people that play it are adults because they know it's a gacha game, but it's colorful and pretty and it attracts a lot of children. So if there's like a story quest where somebody brutally dies, like that fight with Senora, when Senora dies, had that happened in Honkai, they would have showed it. It would have showed her bleeding and voice crack. How about that? They would have showed her bleeding and like falling over and just dying. Like,
right.
They do that in Honkai all the time, but in Genshin, she just vanishes. Just
right.
Ash.
If you read the manga, I mean, the manga has a ton of violence and blood in it. Like Dotori in the manga is like literally like
is a menace.
Yeah, he's a freaking psychopath, you know. But like, it's hard to tell because we're still early on in the development whether it's like they're trying to do that like more kid-friendly stuff on the surface to kind of lead people in to the world in a naive way, kind of like the main protag is. But like, I don't know. I that's really something I guess we got to kind of wait and see how they develop it over time and whether it darkens. But I don't think it'll ever be as like Honkai. Because Honkai is like really dark. Like I love it. Like I'm a huge fan of like tragic backstories and stuff like that. So Honkai is like fantastic for that. But yeah, I think you're right that it's too big at this point, and they have a lot of really sensitive themes in Honkai that I just don't even think they're willing to touch.
Yeah, here's the thing though, like if you actually care enough to look the characters in Genshin have really depressing backstories. Like Sucrose, for example, the reason why she's so obsessed with flowers is like because when she was little, she was friends with two girls. One of them died on an adventure, and then the other girl blamed Sucrose for it. But when they were younger, they agreed that if they found a paradise, which was like big flowers and pink water, that they would come together no matter what the circumstances was to meet each other in paradise. So the reason why Sucrose is so obsessed with sweet flowers is because she's trying to make that paradise, even so that her and her friends can come back together. But it will never happen because one's dead. And then there's the story with Chi-Chi where like she died. She fell into a hole in the middle of an Archon war and died in the middle of the fight. And then the Adeptuses found her corpse with a great vision in her hand because in her last moments, her one wish was to freeze time so she couldn't die. She had a cryovision in her hand, and they found her. So they brought her back to life, but then she went berserk because she had the power of an Adeptus, and she was a child. So then they sealed her away for thousands of years, and then a Baiju comes across her one day. And, like, the backstory with Venti, I don't even have to go into that. And, I mean, even the weapons in this game, like, the Wolf's Gravestone was literally used by a warrior, a great warrior, and he used the sword to mark the grave of his fallen wolf companion, and that's why it's, you know, the sword that comes out of the ground with Boreas. And like, I mean, Memory of Dust was a weapon, or was an artifact given to Zhongli before the god of dust died, and it's a puzzle that even he doesn't know how to fix. Like, the backstory in this game is really dark, but I mean, they're never gonna make it come up.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever directly address a lot of that stuff. Like, yeah, like Rosaria's backstory, she was
kidnapped.
Yeah, she was
yeah,
her whole family was murdered like by bandits, and then the bandits recruited her and trained her as an assassin, and then she murdered people.
The leader.
Yeah, she murdered people for years and years, and then the Knights of Favonius basically like quote unquote saved her, but like now she's just an assassin for the church. So like, what changed? You know? Like,
I'm sorry, an assassin for a church?
I don't think she's an assassin.
She is.
She is
heavily implied. It is heavily implied. It might not.
She's killing people still. Oh,
here, let me go into her profile.
It might not, dude. The first thing, read her birthday dialogue. She literally
her idol. She pulls out a knife, doesn't she? Kunai.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me find it. I'm actually. Yeah, her birthday.
I thought she left that behind, man. Feels bad.
Her birthday dialogue is literally something along the lines of, "If you have something you need me to take care of," oh, here it is. "Today's your birthday. If you have any dirty work that needs taken care of, just let me know. Just tell me a name and don't tell anybody." Got it? That's her birthday dialogue.
Happy birthday.
She's willing to kill someone on your birthday. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, she has like a. Let's go for the formalities. I'm here to finish the job. Just leave the dirty work to me. And she's an alcoholic. It's like heavily implied that she assassinates people at night and just drinks during the day to forget about it.
Yep.
But obviously, like, you meet Rosaria in the story and she's not like covered in blood, you know, like ridden with PTSD and all that stuff. So it's like,
it's implied that's why she wears black. So it's a fun quote. But I mean, what the hell does a church need an assassin for?
it's a good question, you know, like it's obvious.
I think they're having her like do it. I think because it seems like she kind of takes justice into her own hands, like a vigilante.
No.
Fair enough.
Someone's paying her. She works for the Knights. Someone's paying her. I think they're just using her to kill like treasure hoarders or something, or like hunt down criminals. But she's definitely an assassin. It doesn't matter what you have to say about it. There's too much evidence that points to her being an assassin. So, yeah. And then her Taglia sword quest. I mean, there's a lot of dark crap in this game. It's just nobody cares to look far enough to find it. And those who do don't really talk about it because nobody else wants to hear it. You trying to tell me my big boob anime waifu is a murderer? No, that's not true. The way the game works.
That's not true, right? Right?
That's not true, right? Yeah, right.
Let's transition to the next topic, which is Venti. Venti's banner is Upperoni with Ayato, and you know he's an old Archon now. He's been out for a while. What do we think about him?
Not worth it. No, especially not with Kazo, who's coming out right around the corner. We just had this conversation. Me and Final and Valk had this conversation on our last podcast we did together. If he's good, he's good. But if he's not, he's horrible. So he's not worth it, in my opinion.
He's one of those characters you don't need, but I say if you have the spare primos and you can get him, he's a very nice character to have on your bench.
But if you can't, just get Kazuha, who's likely going to rerun next update or the update after.
Yeah.
Well,
I
my
agree.
take on it is this: if you come to me and you ask me who's better, I'm just gonna tell you Kazuha. Kazuha has just way more universal application. But I'm not gonna blame you if you get Venti, because first off, Venti's a freaking Archon. I know a bunch of people just collect the Archons just to have them. That's one. Not
Yeah,
to
we're talking,
mention,
like basketball cards.
yeah, exactly. Not to mention, it's not even that he's like bad. It's just he has moments where he's not the best. But when he does have a moment where he's the best, kills it. So I'll never tell you I'll never tell you unless you ask me, should I get Venti or Kazuha? But in this day and age, Venti's still solid. You just have to find a place to use him. That's the thing.
I would say there's very specific accounts that would want Venti over Kazuha, and those are the accounts that run Mono Geo team as their second team. And if you run a reaction team like Reverse Mel or Reverse Vape, Sucrose is basically on par in reaction teams. Like Kazuha is only much better than Sucrose in mono teams. So if you're one of those players, then I would say, yeah, if you're a Geo player, I would say probably Venti, because Sucrose can do what Kazuha does in reaction teams.
Oh, thank you. You hear that, people? In my 8 videos that I made where everybody in the comments is saying that I'm not true. See? Told you. Sucrose is amazing. But I mean, also, you also do need 2 swirlers one way or the other, so Kazuha would be a great second pick, because, you know, you still need a second demon to swirl, unless you're going to use Venti, but the problem I have with Venti is that his one swirl option is his skill, and his skill's not that strong. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not bad, it's just not strong. And his burst is really good, but if it's not really good, it's horrible, because you have to aim it, and then even if you aim it right, they can just walk out of it. So
here's how I'm looking at Venti. It's kind of like what Lay said briefly. I'm looking at Venti as like a luxury character. If you have the primos and you want Venti, then get him. I mean, you're not going to be upset. But like for me personally, I don't really need like a gather, and like I don't need a character who does that right now. So I'm gonna be skipping, but like solid unit and extra points for Femboy.
okay.
But like I don't know, it's a little bit of like a weird topic to talk about, because I mean, like, he has his uses, but with Kazuha coming so soon, it's like, I don't know, man.
I'll be
What
honest.
about you? You've been silent for a while.
I mean, I was just waiting because basically the same sentiments as you guys have been saying.
Yeah, like, bro, I'll be real with you. This talk is literally all over YouTube and in every single Genshin Discord.
I
This
know,
talk
man.
is
Like, everybody's been covering this.
freaking much.
Well, it's because, like, it's such a relevant thing. And, like, Venti, the fact that he's an Archon and he's not, like, look at all the other Archons, even with Zhongli with all the shield buffs, he still is amazing. And Raiden Shogun, even though she hasn't got any nerfs yet, we know what's going to happen to Sumeru, but, like, she's amazing, and now Venti's kind of just, like, he doesn't live up to the expectations of the old Archons, and people are, like, going back and looking at the old videos for Venti, and they're like, SS tier, best character in the game. And then now modern people are like, yeah, he's all right. I mean, like, so people don't know what's what anymore. And it's a video in high demand. I can't tell you how many times I've been live streaming. People are like, oh, should I get Venti? Like, no, you shouldn't. I mean, like, what else do you have on your account? You have Kazuha? No? Okay, get Kazuha. Like, I mean, if you want him, go for it. But
I saw someone say that they might start, like, making the abysses more for him in the future. Like, they'll probably, like, skip they'll skip 2 abyss where he can't do anything, and then they'll make 2 abyss in a row where he can, and make it like 50-50, where like 50% of the time he's top tier and 50% of the time he's not. Because look at it, Venti is so strong, they had to literally change how the Abyss was. Because if you had a Venti in the past, you just won the Abyss. Like, you just beat the game. Like, the floor he was on just died. So like they had to do something, or everybody with Venti would just always beat the Abyss every single time, no matter what.
I think it wasn't really so much as a change of Abyss. I think it was just a change of the enemy archetypes. Pretty much every new enemy now, with literally the only new enemy that comes out now that doesn't resist Venti's swirl is the mushrooms and the tiny wolfhounds. Everything else either resists it or is immune to it. So I don't think it's so much of Abyss as it is just, you know, the new enemies coming out in general just are immune to CC. And I guess, like, because Lectors, you told me this the other day, like, when the Lectors first came out, that Abyss was easy if you had Venti, but if not, it was not very fun. So, yeah, they knew Venti's overpowered. There's no way they didn't. They keep nerfing him.
I mean, they're doing the same thing to freaking Zhongli, bringing in corrosion and peeps who get bust from shields.
I think the difference is with Zhongli is like there's not much you can do to nerf him, because even if his shield is completely useless, he has a 25% resonant shred, and he's the one of the better Millilith users, and his ult still does a lot of damage and petrifies. Like, you can make his shield complete. You can make 2 parts of his kit completely useless, and he'll still be good in other aspects. So it's very hard to nerf him. But Venti, all he had going for him was CC, and now he doesn't have that.
He has the energy recharge too. You can't sleep on that.
Yeah, you can't sleep on the energy. He was right.
Used to be the OG battery.
The energy recharge only works if you get enemies in your ult, and if you don't, then it doesn't.
You just need to swirl.
No, you just need to infuse.
If you get them in there, if you swirl, but if you don't, if they can't be sucked in and you miss your burst, which happens all the time, by the way, because the aiming on that thing sucks. I don't know what it is about it. Like, there's like 8 enemies on one side and 1 on the other. You're gonna go for the one guy off to the right. Like, come on, man. But I mean, if you don't swirl it, and enemies are not getting sucked into it, then the chances of you actually swirling is 0. And even if, like, if you're relying on a burst for batterying, then why don't you just use, I don't know, Sucrose or Raiden or Electro Traveler.
Like you were saying with the energy, that's kind of the same thing like for Sucrose. You're not going to generate any energy if she's not in your in her little E field. You know what I mean? So
that's not why she's a good battery. She's a good battery because she can use 3 elemental skills all at once.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. She's a great battery, but like I may be a little bit confused on what you were saying about Venti, but from what I got, you were trying to say like he's a little inconsistent with energy generation. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're right. It's because when Venti first came out, most enemies can be sucked in, and if your burst doesn't swirl, he's not a good battery. You might as well bring in anyone else. I guess his gimmick was that he was good at VV shred and swirl and being a good battery, but if he can't CC, then he can't battery. That's pretty much the reason. Or he can, but like there are better, more consistent options now. Like you could just bring in any matching character archetype, like Diona if you're doing Cryo, or Raiden Shogun if you're doing Electro, or I don't know what would work. I guess Bennett would work really good for Pyro, and he's Bennett. I mean, there are just other options now. Like, he was good when the game first came out, but, like, there was not much when the game first came out. There's way, way better options nowadays. His age is showing. I can sum up his problems with his age shows, pretty much. I can sum up all of his issues like that.
I think that's a good way to put it, yeah. He's a little old, so what he was really good at back then, he's just, like, fine at now.
But I also said this to you the other day. So, what if this is Mihoyo's way of giving everybody the middle finger who doesn't pull him this time? Because who's to say Sumeru enemies aren't all suckable? We don't know that yet. And then what if he doesn't come back for a very long time, and they make really tanky, suckable enemies?
At the start of Inazuma, they weren't suckable.
Yeah, at all.
Yeah, they actually.
The only reason why they changed it back was because people were complaining.
Yeah, they actually
Yeah,
nerfed the
'cause,
weight
I
of
mean, they
enemy.
got
We don't
Venti, and
know.
Venti was just useless in a new region.
That's what I'm saying, but we don't know what they're gonna do in Sumeru for the new enemies in Sumeru. We don't know what they're gonna do yet.
Yeah,
I
I
can give
It
you a
could
pretty
be
good
it could
idea.
be a Venti field day.
I do have a little bit of a theory that I've been thinking about, because like over the long term, without shifting the power ceiling, like how do they adjust the difficulty or whatever? And like obviously like they have these new mechanics that they're adding in or whatever. I just think they're gonna like focus on one thing, like they'll add enemies that deal with shields or whatever, and like each area is just going to bring different challenges. Like we'll have a stretch of time where there'll be like a lot of large enemies and you need just like big nukes, and then we'll go into a period of time where they'll start releasing a bunch of smaller enemies that need, you know, like
Okay.
CC. I don't know, but
Yeah, but I mean, I can see that, but like, even if that is the case, like, why would you wish for a character who's limited time and very expensive that's only good half the time when there are other options that are good all of the time?
yeah, I mean, I generally agree with the sentiment about Venti as a Venti owner who hasn't used Venti in like 4 or 5 months.
I agree. I have him with his signature weapon and I haven't used him in forever.
Yeah, I just prefer not to use them anymore. I mean, it's just the way it is. But I mean, if you want to pull them, I'm not going to tell you no or not to or whatever. Go ahead.
I can just sum up my resolve as he's fine. The problem is like, yeah, he's cool. Yeah, agree. But eventually the novelty wears off and it's just like, okay, I'm not even playing the game anymore. There's really no reason, like, there's no, even if he is super good, unless it's Abyss, there's pretty much no reason to use him. Because he literally trivializes the game. If he trivializes it, and if he doesn't, then there's no reason to use him because he doesn't trivialize it. You might pull him, you'll have fun for a while, but after a minute, you'll kind of realize, like, this is probably some of the... You'd have more fun playing, like, paint drying simulator at that point. Because you're literally doing nothing. You're pressing, look, here's Venti gameplay. Alright, I'm done. No.
Yeah.
That's just a theory.
Okay. All right.
I'm done with that topic because it's been talked about so much
Yeah.
everywhere. so
Let's
We can only keep this topic down so much.
let's stop beating a disintegrated horse. This is actually a really interesting topic, and we talked about this at length preparing for the podcast. So this is gonna be a good one. It's
Oh boy, here we go.
Geo versus Electro. Which one is weaker?
Alternative. Can I throw on my alternative title on this one?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Trash versus trash. Which one smells worse?
I mean, if I had to pick, I'd probably say Geo's weaker.
Yeah, it's Geo. I say Geo's weaker.
I
mean, at
think
least-
Geo's better. I think Electro's. I think if you look at it as a whole, Geo does its job better than Electro does its job. I think it depends on the way you look at it. If you look at it as which one's more meta, then it's Electro. But if you look at it as which one was designed to do what and which one does the job better, Geo does its job way better than Electro does its job. But I feel like that's mostly because it feels like Electro had an identity crisis and then finally decided, okay, I want to be the energy element. So I'll let y'all take your take on it because I feel like I've been talking for like the whole time and I'm sure people are annoyed with that. So
You're chilling, so.
I mean,
I
my point of
mean-
view, I'm going. Alright,
Yeah,
from
no,
my
you
point of
got-
view, so I go at it like this. Geo, it has the better resonance. No questions asked. Geo resonance is insane, especially since the buff. That thing's busted. But Electro gives a lot more variance in gameplay. I mean, you have Taser, and that Taser's actually meta for a lot of team comps. We have freaking Superconduct, which makes physical dealers, aka Eula, a beast. You have, I mean, you have Overload if you want to use it. That's your decision.
if you're a psychopath, yeah, Overload
Yeah.
is an option.
And then not to mention that Electro can be swirled by an Evo. So I take like all those things into account. While Geo does have the better resonance, no doubt, Electro with all of its reaction options, in my opinion, just makes it better as an element.
I think about it as, you know, what was the element designed to do? And Electro I think the best way we can look at it is their Archon. Their Archon usually represents what the element's general idea is, like Animo CC. Geo is supposed to be stability, like just do whatever. And then Electro is supposed to be energy. Electro feels like it had an identity crisis because Overload does nothing for most teams, because it's only good if you're fighting enemies that are like can't be flinched, because otherwise it just has such a giant cost of opportunity because you're throwing enemies away from you.
Yeah.
And if you are fighting enemies that can't be overloaded, why don't you just bring in Vape instead? Because it's the same thing, it's just way stronger. There's Superconduct, which is not useful for the element itself. It's only useful, like, I guess Razor, but like, how long has it been since Razor's ever been considered good? Like 1.0, 1.1? I mean, Razor's not good. Fischl's not even supposed to be physical DPS. She's supposed to be a Electro support, but people kind of bottlenecked her into that. The only physical DPS that benefits from Electro, or supercharged, is Eula. And I know it's part of Electro, but I already said I'm looking at it as the element itself, not what it does with other crap. Like, just the element itself. And then there's, Taser, which is incredibly overpowered. It is insane. It's not meta anymore because the new Abyss is swirl meta. But in general, like, it's still very strong. I mean, when its resonance is horrible. Its resonance is it's the second worst in the game. I still think Hydra Resonance is the worst, because who cares? 15% healing. Nobody asked. No, there's never been a time where I've been in Abyss where I've been like, oh man, I'm glad I had 15% extra healing. I wouldn't have made it without that. And the same thing can be said for Electro. Like, there's never been a time where I've been in Abyss and I'm like, oh yeah, man, I'm glad I had that one particle every 5 seconds that's Electro. Like, if it was maybe a mid particle, like what is it, the clear ones, maybe that would have been better, but it's not, and it's only once every 5 seconds on an Electro reaction trigger, so it kind of feels useless, pretty much. There's never a fight I've been in where I've noticed the difference. There's Geo, which Geo, it's designed. Like, originally it was designed to be garbage. I don't know what their original intent for Geo was, but after the Geo buff, or the Geo rework, I guess I should say, it's obviously designed to be an element that plays well by itself. Geo, like Air Taquito, pretty much makes it up for the most part. You're supposed to use the element essentially by itself, and it's good because it does the job well. There are if you run a full Geo team, which is the way it's supposed to be used, it works very well. The problem is, it is so expensive. It is so expensive to make it work right. The character lineup, all the good ones are pretty much 5 stars, and they're all limited. Zhongli, Albedo, Arataki, they're all limited. And then the options you have available after that is Ningguang, Noel, Geo Traveler. I mean, none of them are exceptionally meta, but I guess the same thing goes to Electro too. They're both bad, essentially is what I'm saying. They're both horrible, but I think the Geo does what it was designed to do well, and Electro doesn't. That's why I think Electro is worse. But that is my take on it.
There's one case where the Electro Resonance is actually overpowered, but we haven't seen it in over a year, and I don't know if they're ever going to bring it back. But the Hydro ley line on a floor 11 over a year ago, where it increased the cooldown.
Yeah, that was actually busted.
Yeah, the Electro Resonance got rid of that.
Electro Resonance itself is really bad. All of the reactions Electro has is really bad, except for Superconduct, for reasons you guys already said.
Wait, what?
Superconduct is good because it's 40% res shred, and if it didn't have that, then
no. I know that, but what do you mean? Taser's bad? Taser's amazing.
Taser's amazing.
Taser.
I mean, Taser is more so Hydro just being absolutely bonkers at literally every reaction.
Hey, Electro's part of that.
I was about to say, Electro it's literally doing like Electro damage, I think. I'm not 100%
It does
sure.
do Electro damage.
Yeah, it's literally doing Electro damage,
Digressing, if you were comparing Geo to Electro and all that, Geo's interaction is so good now. If you're comparing old school Geo, then I would have said Geo, because before it was like you need a crystallized shield or it's useless. But now, especially paired with Zhongli, which 90% of people have, it's really, 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 really good. So, Geo, in my opinion, is not even in this conversation, because Geo's really good right now.
Wait, okay. So let's take it from this then. If we take away Raiden and Zhongli, and we only have the rest of the Geo and Electro characters, which one's worse?
You still have
Yeah,
Albedo,
Electro. It'd be
you still
Electro.
have,
It'd be Electro.
Yeah.
Electro needs
Electro,
Raiden.
without a doubt.
Let's be real.
you still have
I'm not even gonna
Albedo and
front.
all this other
The
stuff.
only good Electro character is Raiden.
What are you talking about, Beto? Are you
Yo,
fucking
Beto's a
kidding?
beast.
Beto,
you
He's
kidding
good
me?
too.
Beto's
but
amazing.
Beto's good, but she's not like Raiden amazing. Like you're trying to tell me that Baido's on par with Arataki Ito.
I mean, depends
Yeah,
on the team composition. If you're
Yeah.
talking Taser, yeah.
I mean, no. We're not talking about team composition. We're talking about like highest skill cap for the character. It's obviously Arataki Ito is better than Baidu. That's what I'm saying. Like, Baidu's amazing. Nobody's saying she's not, but like, if we take away the Archons from each element, it's still Geo. I mean, what does Electro have? Electro has Razor Official, Geo Electro Traveler, which is the biggest joke in the game. Sara would be useless, or Yay Miko, who's I keep messing her up. Electro, I feel like Electro, their lineup is another thing that kind of screws them over. They do not have a good lineup. There's very few characters in Electro that can benefit from what Electro or reactions have to offer, which is another issue that I have with it. So.
They're both bad.
Yeah, they're both awful. That's the whole
They're
joke.
both bad.
I think
Yeah.
that's why nobody can agree on like if you make a video about it, I know because I did. Half the comments are saying that I'm right, and the other half are saying that I'm wrong, and it's because they're both bad. They're both horrible, so nobody can really agree on this one's.
Yeah, they're both
Word.
bad. Yeah, they're both bad elements that have very like a couple strong characters in it, right? Like
Kind of save it, yeah.
yeah, like they have characters that save it.
Yeah, I was gonna give my take, just not to repeat it what everyone said, because I generally agree that like they have elements have their issues. Is that like both elements give you not a lot of reaction damage outside of like Taser Team, obviously, and so like Geo units and Electro units are dependent on their stats, like their actual stats, more than like a Pyro unit, because you can double your damage on a Pyro unit by just adding water. But with Geo, it's like your crit damage is your max damage cap, and you know what I mean. So like, I think that's probably one of the most
I
frustrating.
can sum up your argument. Physical or Geo is just flavored physical damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. It's just orange physical damage, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think that I prefer Electro just because I like reaction teams, and I find myself, wanting to plop an Electro unit in to every now and then do a team comp, shake things up, try something new. But I love my Geo comp, but like it is very samey, and and Geo mostly plays with itself, and so like, if I want to expand my Edo team, what am I gonna do? Add a different Geo
You need
unit?
a new Geo release.
Right, like what is that really going to do to my Geo team? Add more orange, different kinds of orange numbers.
Yeah, just add fire in there. You can get another orange shade in there. Some
Right.
Reds.
Whereas
Bennett.
I feel like Electro does have a little more variance, where it's like, oh, I want multi-target damage, Beto, that's who I'm gonna pick. Like, that she's the one because, oh yeah, she has the bouncing thing, right? Whereas Fischl, oh, single target damage for Fischl, oh okay. I just see a little more team variance in Electro, and that's what keeps me more interested in the element. But yeah,
I'll play with Electro over Geo any day, but that's mostly because I don't have Arataki Ito, and I think Geo is boring. But it doesn't change the fact that I do think Geo is better, because if you look at their intended job, Geo does its job well. It's just the job it has sucks, and Electro has a potentially very good job. It just does it horribly. So,
yeah, I do agree with the
all
res.
the time. I think the biggest problem with Electro is its lineup does not take advantage of what it should be.
For sure. I think the resonance thing is the thing I agree with the most. Like, Geo resonance is just so absolutely ridiculously good, and Electro resonance is just basically nothing.
There are very few teams in this game that have a main GPS that don't at least slightly benefit from Zhongli Albedo on that team, because the Geo resonance is amazing, and you're protected by a shield, and you shoot resonance, and you do more damage. Like, you drop essentially a 20k nuke every 3 seconds, and get
Not
energy.
to mention,
for it,
Albedo passively generates energy particles.
which I just
You
said.
can be in.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Yeah.
Well, the funny part is if your carry scales off attack, Pyro Resonance is actually more damage than Geo Resonance, but
Yeah, I know. As a Zhao main, I know that fact greater than many. But yeah.
hey, but y'all also forgot Electro has a hidden gem. It's called Level 70 Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer 15% Defense Shred Lisa.
Oh yeah, no, that's not a hidden gem. That's just what we call copium. But I mean, yeah, if you want to keep smoking that, you can go for it, my guy. I'm not gonna stop you.
Lisa is the clunkiest and most unfun character to play in the game.
She's
Bro, you
my
literally just use her ult and then switch off.
personality-wise. She is my least favorite character in the game. I hate character tropes. They're just haha sex. So
If you get her C6, she's somewhat usable because you literally just swap her in and then you hold down her
stack and go.
skill, and then but it still feels really counterintuitive
I
because
have
in
her
a game that's
C4, and I don't use
all
her.
about mobility and moving around, you want to just sit there, charge at the skill, and then let it pop. Like you gotta sit there still for 3-4 seconds still.
Hey, bro, I said use her Q. Don't use her skill. I said just use her Q and switch off. That's all you gotta do.
Here's my
Gotta get her
take.
energy somehow.
Here's my take on that. I hate that argument. If your argument for a character being good is, oh yeah, just ignore half the kit and they're good, that's not a good character.
Hey, man.
Hey, bro, Thrilling Tales is too busted.
I mean, that weapon is busted.
I heard this argument the other day. If you know who Slime King Dojima is, he made a video on this. He was like, he
Yeah.
made a video about Thrilling Tales. He was literally like, any character who's a catalyst, essentially.
I saw that.
I'm paraphrasing. Essentially, any character who's a catalyst is doomed to be a Thrilling Tales slave because it's so good. Amazing weapon. I cannot believe the things that actually it can, because with no refinements, it's not that great. But at R5, it's pretty good. So. I feel like this topic is a bit stale. You want to like move on?
Yeah, we've beat it to death again. So let's see here. We talked about this one last time. I think 4 stars worth investing into. Let's all just give like 1 4-star real quick that we would recommend to someone that we like.
Can I go? I want to say this before anyone else says it.
Yep.
Sucrose. Sucrose is amazing. People crap on Sucrose all the time, and I don't know why, because she at C0 she is just as good, if not better, of a buffer than Kazuha, because that elemental mastery bonus that she gives you is insane, and she shreds Viridescent Veneer, and she has TTDS all at the same time, and she's a great battery. At C2 she gives you what, 4 particles per E, and she can do it twice, and if you can give her the the sack frags, she can do it 3 times, and she gives you 187 extra elemental mastery, which translate into more damage. And she's a 4-star. Also, her burst at C6 is insane. If you get her C1, her C2, and her C6, they're incredible. I don't recommend using her C6 outside of taser teams, but it's still amazing. And nobody talks about Sucrose. I know a lot of people like who actually follow meta do, but people who don't even know, because for her whole life, she has been overshadowed. When her initial release, she was overshadowed by Venti, and then people finally started realizing, oh, she's good.
I gotta stop you there.
The
meta used to be Mona, Sucrose, Bennett, in every single YouTube showcase,
Valk,
because Sucrose is that good of a buffer.
When she first came out, people literally called her Budget Venti.
No, they came out at the exact same time, but no. I'm telling you, she was in. You can go back and watch every single YouTube showcase had her, Mona, and Bennett.
And that's where we're going to the next part. And then Kazuha came out.
No, Kazuha wasn't out for a year.
That's why I just said we get to the next part. And then Kazuha came out, and now she's overshadowed again. People think that Kazuha is a better buffer. He's not, unless you have a C2, then he's definitely better. But still, like that, it just irks me because nobody talks about her anymore, and it's sad. Like I feel like she should be brought up with the Zhengling, Jingshou, and what is the other one?
It is a lot of times. What's his face? Is it Jeff? Swears that she's better than Venti and Kazuha. Swears by her. I remember right. It's either he thinks one of those 3 is really, really good. I'm 90% sure it's Sucrose, but it's not Kazuha.
It's Sucrose. Sucrose is amazing. She's the problem I have. It's not that she's underrated. It's just she's underrated because of what all she can do. That's why I think she's underrated. She should be way more talked about than she is, and she's not, which is why I think she's underrated. She can do so much, and damn near nobody talks about it. That's, in my opinion, what underrated means. Like, if you can do a lot, nobody talks about it, or the people that do, she should be up there in the same conversation with Jingshou, Bennett, and in Zhengling, but she's not, and that's why I think she's underrated.
I'm gonna say Rosaria because I think Rosaria is just below the tier of the Xingqiu, Shangling, and Bennett. Because Rosaria, not only does she give you a crap ton of crit rate, and especially of your cryo resonance, bro. How do people not realize how much damage her burst does off field if you can keep an enemy in there? Like,
I
and
don't
she
even-
has good energy recall for the team as well.
I don't even understand why she's so underrated, because she came out at a time when, you know, content was she came out when 2 reruns came out for the first time.
Yeah.
But there should have been a lot of eyes on her. I don't understand why people don't know how good she is. She's amazing in
Rosaria
Yola
is
team,
so
by the way.
good. Rosaria is so good. She's good
She's-
in so many teams.
She's amazing in Yola teams. Like, she is.
Yeah.
I would argue she is pretty much irreplaceable, especially if you ever see 6.
Reverse
She is
melt
amazing.
Rosaria is the truth. Like, that's all. Like, it is actually insane. Like, I don't know why people don't like Rosaria when she's definitely one of the top 10 4-stars in the game. Easy.
Well, yeah, but that's mostly because most of the modern 4-stars suck. But we won't talk about that.
True.
But yeah, I agree. Val?
For me, it's Noelle.
Yes.
I
Noelle
knew
is
it.
insanely good. The only prerequisite is that you get her C6, but I mean she's been out for forever at this point. But if you manage to get her C6, then she's just an absolute beast.
Yeah. Valk, me and you talked about this the other day, didn't we? I think she's very underrated. She is amazing. I don't think she's like on the same tier as like Bennett and Jingxiu and Shangling, but like if you get her C6, she is a very, very, very good GO DPS. But she kind of got overshadowed by Ningguang, so that's kind of the.
I
Ningguang was
think
just.
Noelle's better than Ningguang, in my
She
opinion.
I do
is.
too.
She
I think
is.
Noelle's
She
insanely
just got
good.
overshadowed by Ningguang because when the game first came out, Ningguang was much easier to use. And on a base level, like if you just look at Ningguang's kit and you just look at Noelle's kit, it looks like Ningguang's better, but she's not.
Like,
Especially
honest-
with the white blind being a weapon that Noelle has access to, and the what is that new Arataki Ito sword? I don't know what it's called.
Red Thorn.
Redhorn
Mhm.
Thresher, or whatever it's called. And that new artifact set that came out recently, she is insane. I've seen people hit like 50k autos on her. It's incredible.
Yeah.
She is incredibly
Wow.
overpowered.
I agree with Noelle because unless you have like a wailed out support team behind a D-Luke, I think Noelle's better than D-Luke
So
in terms of
talking
on-field
about
DPS.
Ningguang, I actually think that she's really worth investing into. I use her on my Zhao team, and she can be a really good burst DPS. And also, if you have Zhang Li, getting that little bit of damage with their 2 like Geo pillars, I'm just gonna call them.
Wait, who are you
It's definitely
talking about?
useful.
Ningguang.
Ningguang.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what
and
I
then
thought.
if you walk through her Jade screen, I think you get it's like a 15% Geo damage bonus.
Yes.
So yeah, very good character.
Are these supposed to be
Final-
underrated 4-stars?
No, just anyone you want to
Good.
recommend.
Just what character do you think is good, essentially? For stars
Shang
wise,
Li.
I mean.
Easy. That's who I was. That's the reason I
No,
even part of the reason I even
come on,
joined the
You don't
game.
need to elaborate.
No. Hold
You
up.
don't need to elaborate.
No,
We all know.
hold up.
Ah, don't be
Bro,
basic, my guy.
Even
Come
before,
on.
bro, I was team her before we even knew she was good. Because that was the reason I joined this game. That was my first main before Wu Tao.
She was so broken in the beta, they nerfed her from beta to live.
Yeah.
Some people knew she was good. They just didn't know about the ICD stuff until later on down the road. But they
Yeah.
always knew she was
No,
good.
but remember how we used to play her? We used to play her freaking
Yeah,
physical, and
physical.
shit.
Yeah, people used to.
Well,
We always
That
knew
was
she
the
was good, just
jam.
not for the right reasons.
it's
Yeah.
well, physical DPS is still a valid option, and it wasn't because people were using her as a physical DPS because it was her best thing. People were using that because it was.
Because they had access to Crescent Pike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was because early game, most people, they're like, when Genshin first came out, there were like 3 DPS characters, and 2 of them were 5-stars, and one of them was Razor, who didn't have a rate up banner. Everybody had Zhengling. Everybody had Crescent Pike. That's why that was a thing for a while. It was because everybody had her. Everybody had Crescent Pike. Nobody had any other DPSs. If you didn't get lucky, you didn't have another DPS. So that's why that was a thing. It was a thing because there weren't a lot of options at the time. Also,
swear
Crescent
by
Pike
it,
is
man.
incredibly overpowered.
That was
Yeah,
the,
and
those
Crescent-
were the days.
While Crescent Pike was being used, that's the sole reason people were using Shailene, because she was the only polearm in the game that could literally use it.
Like,
He was
nobody else
literally
could
the
use it.
only polearm character in the game when the game first came
Yeah,
out.
she was literally the only polearm character in the game. That's it.
Yeah.
the times,
So that's
baby.
why people were using her as a physical DPS at the beginning, because one, everyone thought physical DPS were really good. Even Fizz, like physical official, was a thing.
Mhm.
It was pretty funny. That's also why people thought Razor was cracked. But as time goes on, everyone gets more access to more stuff, and it's like, wait, she has no ICD on her little Pyronado. So she's actually kind of broken because she's just a super strong enabler, especially paired with Bennett, to make up for her lack of attack stat.
Yeah.
He
Um,
was the OG.
I am going to recommend probably the most underrated character in the entire game.
You gonna
Bennett.
say
For you
Zin Yan?
part if it's not.
Oh, it's
Aw,
Benny.
man.
It's Benny. No, I'm
I was
kidding.
hoping you would say Zin Yan.
I
You
was
guys
just about to say that.
you interrupted my punchline. How dare you? No,
Jing Cho.
Can I guess, Flo? Can I guess who you're gonna say?
who?
Sarah.
I'm gonna guess two.
No.
I'm
Who?
gonna guess
Really?
two. Hold on, I gotta open up the character archive so I can make educated guess. If you say Jinyan, I'm gonna leave this call.
No, I'm not gonna.
Stop.
I'm not gonna
Speak.
recommend her right now. Although I do actually like Thin Yen.
And me too.
And I like Sara too, even though I'm not gonna
literally-
recommend her.
She was my fourth character at Max Friendship. I love.
Oh,
Besides,
I know who it is.
Oh wait, is it Chongyun?
No.
I know who it is.
All right, I
I
have
swear to
one
God,
last.
if you
So-
say Barbara.
No.
Is it Lisa?
No. No. I'm just gonna say it.
I'm done.
Yeah. No one's guessed it. It's Diona. No one's talked about her yet. She was the first support I ever built, and as a shielder healer combo, she's just fantastic for so many comps. Like so flexible. And one of my favorite things about her is that her weapons are rather flexible. You can use sack bow, you can use Favonius bow, you know, kind of whatever energy weapon bow you have. And then what I do is I run her on 4-piece maidens, because like who uses 4-piece maidens? And it makes farming VV less painful, because you can kind of like, you need main stat HP for her, but you can also try to fish for farm substats like crit or ER or just more HP or whatever the heck you want. And you can make use of those maiden pieces. So I think that like she's a really low resin character. She doesn't take a lot of resin because you can just give her, a 4-piece noblesse or a 4-piece maidens with just a bunch of HP, and you're pretty much good to go. Level up her E. Very underrated unit. I hope that if you're struggling with, like corrosion or any of these new mechanics, just think about Diona.
All right, can I give my piece on that?
Yeah.
On Diona. I don't think she's underrated at all. I think I see a lot of people talk about her, and
Oh yeah, no, that whole underrated thing I said at the beginning was a joke, by the way. Because I was gonna say
she's
Benny.
insanely good. I have her on a sack bow with the. I think I have a sack bow with a 4-piece noblesse, and I have her on all HP and then like 1 energy recharge, I think. And it's amazing because she has a really strong shield that scales up HP. It's not great, but I mean it's a little bit of damage mitigation, and she's a healer, and she's a good battery, and she buffs attack by 20% every time you pop the burst. And if you have sack bow and you have at least 1 ER on her, you always have your burst. If you don't have it, you're playing her wrong. She is insanely overpowered. Maybe not in the sense that most people think when they think overpowered, but like for a 4-star, she is really good, and especially if you get her C6, that 100%, I think it's like 100, 200 elemental mastery boost. It's not 100%, but like 100,
Yeah,
200
it's
elemental mastery
200.
boost when you're above 50 is really nice.
I think
It
it's
is really, really, really nice. I don't run her on maidens though, because she has a shield and she heals. Like if you're running her on a team and you're getting close to death, then it's not really that smart to be using her. You might as well use something else, because clearly you're not skilled enough to take part in the fragile cat. But other than that, she's fine. Also, you said something about corrosion. If you bring Diona into corrosion, you're screwed, because her burst does not apply fast enough. At least the first corrosion abyss. Her burst does not regenerate fast enough to help you with corrosion, if that is the central mechanic. Because Diona was the healer I tried to use originally when the first corrosion abyss happened, when they had like the burning characters and all the rift hounds and all that crap. it did not work at all.
Hmm.
I had to bring in Chi-Chi and
Well, that's interesting because let me test real quick. Per tick, I'm getting 5,300 on my Diona right now, and I don't recommend obviously you run her with a shield, but for me that's plenty with corrosion.
well, what are you said you're using 4-piece maidens?
Yeah, and that's part of the
That's
reasons.
why I'm not using maidens. I'm using
Yeah.
I'm not using healing bonus damage, and I'm not using maidens. I'm using all HP and all energy recharge.
Oh, I don't think
Because
I
it
have...
makes the shield that much better. And I'll take the super armor and damage ignorance any day over just higher healing.
Yeah, mine's running
But
triple
that's mostly 'cause I
HP.
use her on Ganyu teams too, so I need a shield that's at least decent.
Yeah, mine's triple HP as well, 26,000 health, and I have her level 12 shield talent. So she's got an insanely strong shield, actually. Like, my Diona
You have
shield...
triple HP. I don't have triple HP. I have 1 energy recharge piece on her because it gives me literally 100% burst up time. I have her burst up as soon as it's procced.
Yeah, I have Elegy on her, which gives her a bunch of ER. And combined... Actually, Elegy on Diona is so cracked, because if you... like, procking the passive with her C6, you can just get, like, 500 elemental mastery. Just like, here you go. So, it's... pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it's nice, and also that 20% attack increase he gives. I would like to change my answer for most underrated 4-star because I just remembered one, and this is like the prime example of underrated. And that is Amber. I think Amber is the most underrated 4-star in the entire game, and that's not a joke. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually
Are you
agree,
agree?
like, for real.
Yeah,
Okay.
Whale Amber is actually cracked.
It's not even well Amber.
Not
You're
even
talking about
Whale
like
Amber.
Amber.
Not even
with,
well.
No, hold on. This is my quote. I know I've been talking the whole
go,
time.
go,
But don't steal my thunder from me.
Go.
Amber with Elegy for the End is amazing on like high power vape team. Not even high power vape teams, just in general. She is one of the most rapid appliers of pyro because of her ult. So if you run her on like full energy recharge and with her Elegy for the End, you get that 20% attack and like what is it, 100 elemental mastery, like that. And if you run her on a noblesse set, you get that extra 20% attack, so you're getting 40% attack. Also, if you're running her on double pyro, it's 56% attack, 100 elemental mastery just for popping the burst. And Elegy for the End also gives energy recharge, so you're getting your energy back immediately. So if you do that, swap to Sucro, swirl with a lot of ER built on her, now you have what, 40 resonant shred, you have more elemental mastery, and then you swap in the Jing Shou and use his swords and swap into your main DPS, you're doing a lot of damage. I've hit 190k charges on Hu Tao with that setup before, and nobody talks about it. She is so overpowered. She is banned from speedrunning comps in the Abyss. It's that overpowered. Her and Eula, her Whale Amber and Whale Eula are the only characters banned from speedrunning comps because they're so overpowered, and nobody talks about it.
I never knew that she was banned. I mean,
No,
Eula
Amber
makes sense. Eula
Amber
makes
gets
100% sense.
because with Amber you can one shot everything with one Xing Shou E.
Yeah. She's insane, and nobody talks about it. Literally nobody. 9 times out of
The
10,
Elegy Amber.
yeah, Elegy Amber, and it's not even a whale thing because if you just, I have my Amber's like C2, and she's still amazing.
Yeah.
Her C6 is not that big of an increase. Her C6 is pretty bad, all things considered, considering how expensive it is to get it. It's not the
Right.
best.
It's not
but
worth it,
she's-
but if you have it, then that, what you were talking about, like 15% attack, plus the 20% attack, plus the 25% attack pyro resonance, plus 20% from noblesse, like you can stack up to like 85% attack bonus and make her into almost like a mini Benny that also gives you EM and applies a bunch of pyro. Yeah, no, it's pretty
insane.
It's pretty dang good. I have talked about that a lot in Discord, and then I made a how do I Amber video where I talked about how she's a really good user of the Elegy bow. And like that's one thing about Elegy that like when people see it on the banner, they're like, oh, it's not a DPS weapon, I don't want it. But like no, actually it's a crack support weapon and everyone can use it. Because
I rank Elegy at like S tier for
Yeah.
weapons, because like there's 2 weapons, you know, like you just said. Shit, I just realized I interrupted you. Go.
no, I mean that was pretty much it. Is that like your DPS can only hit a certain power ceiling, and then like getting a crack support weapon is like just as important in the long run to your DPS. And you know everyone has Amber, so like shit. I mean you can just use it on her.
Yeah, and like if it's so overpowered. Like any character that can use a bow, if they're a support character, it's gonna be one of their contenders for best in slot. Like we know Yulan's gonna be a bow character. I'm willing to bet money that thing is gonna be really good on her. Same because like same with Amber.
Oh,
Like,
hey, Soul, that's
Amber's garbage. Amber's it's not, dude. We literally know she uses a bow. It's already been said, but
I wouldn't consider that a leak.
that's a leak,
yeah,
actually. That's
they literally. It's not. They literally show it in the
Don't they put
the
in
current-
like the character profile?
Yeah.
Like,
chasm. There's
bow
literally a
user?
cutscene where she uses a bow. It's not a leak.
Yeah.
It, like even if she's like horrible like Amber,
Oh,
like Amber's
well,
garbage.
spoiler then.
As long as she can use elegy for the end, she's gonna be good, at least decent. So, I think that bow is insane, and a lot of people go for like what DPS weapons all the time because they think they're good. And don't get me wrong, they are. A lot of them are good, but they always get power crept. How are you gonna power creep a support weapon without blatantly making it worse, or making the old one worse? You can't. That's why I use the argument all the time for support characters like Kokomi and Bennett. Like, you know, yeah, Kokomi's overpowered. Bennett's overpowered. Kokomi's not. But I mean, they're never gonna be terrible because the only way they can make them irrelevant is by releasing something stronger than them. And as we know, Mihoyo's too scared to do that. So, I think it's one of the better weapons in the game. I will rank that Elegy and anybody who can use it as at least decent. So. That is my take on.
Yeah, we're beating it into the ground again.
Yeah. Here, let me pause so I can. God, I love you can just pause Genshin. Like, playing MMOs for a long time. That's one thing that I've always hated about MMOs is like I want to pause when I want to pause. I don't want to run to some area to try not to die while I AFK. Anyway, so this one's casual versus meta mindsets. There's here we're kind of going, we're heading near the 2-hour mark, so we're gonna pick out of these last 4 based on what we want to talk about. Casual versus meta mindsets. Are there ways to gauge meta besides combat performance? Which I'm not sure what that means because like all combat is combat. I think maybe like damage maybe is what they mean, like other than damage.
I guess utility, maybe.
Right, like
I don't know.
like healing or elemental application even. Like some units don't do a lot of damage, but they apply a lot of element. Then there's also burnout. And for the content creators, like why did you want to be a content creator for Genshin? So we can pick from those. What do you guys
You
think?
want to like vote?
Just kind of interested what you guys think.
Well, I'm more interested in meta versus free to play, but I'm also biased because I made that post.
I mean, meta versus free to play is always subjective based off your personal experiences. Personal experiences
and
can form
that's
opinions.
exactly why I'm interested in it because we've got a lot of we have a whale, an ex-whale, a guy who lost his account, a man who pays for people to have stuff, a low spender, and a free to play.
I think you can beat everything in this
he's
game
gone.
without spending a
Oh, the
dime.
free play's gone. Never mind.
Yeah, I
We-
think you
we
can
lost
easily
we
stomp
lost
everything in
100.
this game without spending a dime. That's all I gotta say on that.
It just takes
Yeah.
time.
I don't think
You
it
said-
matters so much whether you
Did you
spend money
say
or not.
final? I can hear you.
I said all it does is take time. Even as a free to play, eventually you'll get to the point where you can stomp everything.
When I made that idea, I was more so referring to like when I usually say stuff like that, it's more not meta, more so like the players who play the game. Like, you know, like you see all the time. We're getting too into this. I think we just need to pick what we want because if I start
Well,
talking
apparently
about
it seems like we picked it.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, so we're just going with it now.
So like you see all the time, like people will do stuff about meta, and I don't want to say names, but like how do I describe this? Let's say names. So like big YouTuber is telling people to play the game how they want to enjoy it, right? Then in the same breath, big YouTuber also is like, oh yeah, by the way, if you play for meta, you're an idiot and that's dumb. And then you see like meta players that are like all the time, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, if you like this character, wish for that. I mean, hell, we said it earlier in the podcast. Like if you like the character, wish for Venti. You know, if you like Venti, wish for Venti. But like from a meta aspect, there's this, and then there's like a dichotomy between the two where like meta players get the rap for being super toxic, but in the same breath, the free-to-play players are condemning the way we enjoy the game. And I'm more so
Free-to-plays have
asking
always
the
been
question-
mad toxic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw that out there right now.
What, free-to-players are always mad toxic?
Yes.
Yeah,
From
I
my
100% agree.
experience, I get more shit from free-to-play players than anything else. The amount of comments I get that like I can do it, I can clear faster than you, and I haven't spent a dime. Like, why do I care?
Yeah, I hate that. Like free to play players that say I'm playing for fun, or like the comments are like waifu over meta. Like they click on a meta video just to leave that comment. It really aggravates me. Because people like that are always the first people who are like, oh, play the game. Why do you care about meta? Just play the game to enjoy it. Like, you do realize that some people have a different idea of fun, right? Like, I play the game because I enjoy meta. Like, it's my idea of fun. But because that's not your idea of fun, my opinion on the matter is irrelevant, I guess. And according to you. So, dude, I hate that. And I get a lot of crap from free-to-play players that just think I'm a whale. I'm not. I've just playing the game since beta. But I have, like, if you look at my account, I would not, I would not fault you for like, oh, you're a whale. But I'm not. I've just played the game for a long time, and I get a lot of crap from people that are like, oh, well, I can't achieve that, and I'm free to play, so you shouldn't show it. Like, this is my channel, man. Like, it's just something that's always bothered me, so I want to know what y'all's opinion on it is.
I mean, that's the thing,
I mean,
man.
From personal
Go, Val.
experience, you can't like. To me, everybody wants me to take a hard stance on stuff, right? Because I'm always like, meta doesn't matter, but this unit's really good. Like, I'll say Cons was better than Venti in my opinion, but at the same time, I'm telling you meta doesn't matter. Because people can't get it through their heads that you can acknowledge that Genshin's an easy game, and there's really no point in having a meta. But at the same time, you can still talk about what's strong and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that, in my opinion, meta has no place in Genshin, but I mean, that's not going to stop me from talking about it.
That's a comment I got the other day. Some guy asked me, he was like, hey, meta doesn't have a place in Genshin. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, no, yeah, it does. And it's like, it might not be, I think what people say when they mean that is, it's not necessary.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what they mean, is like, you don't need to have a meta.
It's
You don't
not
need a full meta.
necessary.
You can beat them with whatever you want.
I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's more so than being like, yeah, you're making a meta video. Like, shut up. But they're just, people play the game how they want to enjoy it. And it doesn't matter if you don't think meta is necessary or not. I think the fact you're even saying that is kind of rude. Because, like, you see us as, meta players all the time. We're like, oh, yeah, by the way, just play the game how you want to enjoy it. Play the game as you want to enjoy it. But you don't see people that play the game casually ever say, like, oh, well, that's stupid. But, essentially the opposite. It's always... like, you gotta pick a side, and there's big YouTubers all the time that say it, and I'm not gonna say who, but there was a big YouTuber recently who made like 4 videos in a row just being a douchebag to people that cared about meta, saying that they just need to play the game to have fun, and it just bothers me. Like, you're being such a hypocrite, and it's so blatant. It's something that's been, I've noticed it more and more and more in the community, especially recently. I don't know his name. There's like some really big meta YouTuber. He's kind of popular. I don't know his name because I don't, believe it or not, I don't watch meta content. And he's getting a lot of crap from people now for that reason, because there's people that are saying that we're ruining the game because we're super invested in it. And it's just something I'm bothered by.
I don't think the meta YouTubers are ruining, like, I don't think the meta YouTubers are toxic that much. Like, to be honest, like, if you watch the Theory Crafting podcast, pretty much every one of them has admitted, like, hey, I don't play the meta teams. Like I think the guy who runs Kaching mains is like a Noel main. Like, he runs like a Noel team in Abyss. And, it's just like, I just think it's really weird. Like, I think it's, I'll say this time and time again, but I think one of the best things about Genshin is that if you're a casual and you just want to mash buttons and go Oonga Boonga, there's a way to do that.
Man.
And it's fun. Yeah, but for like those of us who are hardcore gamers, or we just want to spend more time digging into it and all the little details and like the satisfying finding combos that are new and thinking it's really satisfying, like, there's a place for that too. And it's just like, it's so weird to me that, like, like, you can have your experience and think that you're right, but it's like, it's almost like everyone says, like, I'm right, but you can do whatever you want, is basically like pull for who, the same thing as saying pull for whoever you want. You know what I mean? Like, meta players will be like, this character sucks, but do whatever you want. Waifu over meta characters will say, like, this character's meta, but pull for the waifu character, because whatever. It's like, under their breath, everyone is kind of thinking, yeah, but, like, if you do that, you're dumb. Like, if you do what I didn't say, you're dumb, or whatever. And it's kind of, that's weird.
Yeah, but I don't see meta players that actively are like, if you do what I didn't say, then you're an idiot. I mean, I think there's only one time I've ever said that, and it was because some dude was saying that he was pulling meta characters for the overworld, and I was like, if you're doing that, you just need to play a different game, because you're clearly not, you're not having it here. That's the only time I've ever said something like that. But like, God, you said something. I had a comment about it, and I fucking forgot what I was gonna say. God damn it. You said something along the lines of like, you know, I'm right. Oh yeah, you said that a lot of people that are like, that don't play the game for waifus. They play the game for just the waifus. They're like, oh, I'm right, but you know, do whatever you want. I mean, the difference between meta players and and like the people that just play the game to enjoy it, quote unquote. The difference there is that meta players can prove what they're saying is right, but the other option is just an opinion. So, I mean, like, I can prove that XYZ character does more damage than, you know, other option. So, by definition, that's a fact, because, you know, I'm right. But, like, I still acknowledge that, I mean, there's other opinions, but they don't do that. They try to treat their opinion as fact, and that's what bothers me.
Yeah, no,
like, dude, people enjoy different things. Just let us enjoy what we want to enjoy. I hate the people that are really toxic about it. Like,
yeah. That's a really
literally look in the comment section for any meta video, and I guarantee you one of the top comments will be like, "Yeah, but waifu over meta" or something along those lines.
Right.
And it bothers me.
Yeah, I don't think it's the content creators creating a lot of toxicity. I think it's mostly viewers in the YouTube comments, and I think that's really interesting what you just brought up because that made me think about something, and a chest distracted me. Oh my god.
Dude, same. While we were talking, I saw a chest, and I was like, "How do I get this?"
Yeah.
That's why I had a brain fart there.
Yeah, but basically, like, when it comes down to... Oh, my God. I'm sorry, I brain farted. Someone's gonna have to go.
I'll say my experience with the free-to-play, by the way, people. Oh, God.
Dude, don't even get me started.
So, I'm not gonna say names, but I don't think they're here anymore in chat. They were here earlier, but they... months ago, when I first got Eula C6R5, which she's my favorite character in the game, still is today, they, for months, would send me updated screenshots of their highest nuke damage with Eula and say, free to play, by the way. And I'm just like, bro, why are you doing this? Dude. And they just recently found out that I just got a lot of constellations and refinements for my Raiden. And now they're sending me screenshots of their C0 R5 catch Raiden, free to play, by the way. It's like, bro.
Yeah, they're so like Valk said earlier. Like, I've never had problems with people that spend money on the game bragging about what they have. I mean, I know there's like that whole dichotomy with whales, where like the whole idea is free to plays exist to be flexed on. But I mean, how often...
I haven't seen whales actually flexing.
Exactly. Because like, here's the reason why. If you're a whale and you're flexing, you do more damage. You're a horrible person. I mean, you literally, I'm not saying like you're a horrible person as in like, you know, you're horrible because you're a bad person. I mean, like, you're horrible as in you're bad at the game. Because if you don't realize that has nothing to do with skill, I mean, you're bragging that you spent a bunch of money essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, that's probably why whales don't flex. But I guess free to plays have they just have this like thing where it's pride, really. It's pride. Like, look at Imtash's original account where people offered to whale for him and he told them no, because he had and I quote, the pride of being a free to play. And I think that pretty much sums it up. Where people feel like just because they're free to play, they're better because they can do more damage than somebody who spends money on the game. But I say this all the time, like, if you treat Genshin like a job and you're free to play, then you could just, I don't know, get a real job, make the money, do the same damage with significantly less investment, and still have something left over. I don't know. It's just, they're so weird about it. It's just something that always bothers me. Like, dude, just just shut up. Nobody cares. Especially when they have like a really good artifact and they're flexing it. Because all this game comes down to, I don't understand why people brag about what they do in Genshin.
Flex artifacts. I'll be the first to say that. I do flex artifacts.
Okay, well, here, I guess this goes for you too, Valk. The people who flex artifacts and they flex damage in this game are dumb. Because damage in this game, and artifacts in this game, it's all luck or money.
Exactly. It's like, look how lucky I got at this thing. It's like whenever let's say you open a pack of fucking cards, right? Or like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and you get like this super shiny, like whatever the best card is, and you want to show it to your friends. It's the same thing to me. I'm just opening a pack of cards, and I happen to get one that's 3 times crit, whatever, you know? And I want to show it to my friends.
And I understand that, but like, and it's fine if you just do it in passing, but it's the people that make it their whole personality. Or like, yeah,
No, yeah, no. Those are the
That-
people who
that's
drive
awful.
Priuses and Rolex and have like a Rolex watch, and all you know about them is that they have a Prius and a Rolex watch,
yeah,
right?
that's the problem I have. It's pretty. That's a perfect comparison, actually. I'm gonna use that from now on. It's so dumb. You are literally flexing that you have no life, essentially.
Yeah.
You're flexing that you got lucky, pretty much. That's what you're doing.
I remembered my earlier thought. It was basically that, like, no matter what the conversation is, whether it's like, is this character meta or whatever, it's like content creators constantly transition between saying facts and saying opinions, but it's not like they're going, this is a fact, and then say a fact, and this is an opinion, and say, so they'll be like, Venti can do this, therefore you should pull him. Like, they said a fact, like Venti can do something, but the you should pull him part is totally their opinion. And it's just like for some, people just, I think maybe just people want to argue or something, but like, to me, it's pretty obvious that when someone says something about that, they're like, so-and-so can do this, and that's why I think they're worth it. I can just be like, oh yeah, no, I mean, they do that, but I disagree. And then, but everyone gets caught up on it. They're like, oh, they try to argue with the fact when they could just say, I disagree with you. I don't think that that's like worth it, or that's that important or something. Like,
Hey, don't mean to interrupt, Flo, but I'm gonna say peace out to everybody. I gotta get going. It was nice talking to everybody,
oh,
and I'll see you next time.
Okay, see you later, Leif.
Professional podcast. We have lost 2 members throughout the stream. We've lost the 6th of our commitment.
That's all right. That's all right. We've been going 2 hours.
God, we've been going for 2 hours. Holy shit.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see y'all next time, man.
Yeah,
Good night,
actually, I guess while we're on this,
See you
we
later.
might want to wrap up sometime soon, because I do got to go do something in like 10 minutes.
I was gonna say the other topics weren't all that important. I mean, actually, the only ones left are content creators. So if you guys want to just end on why we became
That's all 4 of us.
why we became content creators, and then maybe we can take a few questions from chat and get the heck out of here.
Well, that's easy. Who tell?
All right. I'll start. Simply hit the end game. Not much to do. Wanted to spend more time with Genshin, and I love talking about the game. Just hanging out with people. Like, honestly, I think I kind of decided to make my own endgame content. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much the whole point of me being a content creator. So yeah.
One of y'all want to go next, or you want me to go?
I said my piece. It was all who's out. That's the only reason I started.
I became a content creator. Anniversary rolled around, yeah, and I hated it because we can all agree Anniversary was a slap in the face to the community. It was not great, and I tried to complain. I wanted to make my voice heard, because I truly believe that if you have a problem with something, if you don't say anything about it, it doesn't change. I guess that's just the way I've raised it. Like, if you don't like something, say something about it, and if you don't say something about it, then don't complain that it didn't change. So I took my piece to, first I think I went to the Twitter, and then my tweet got deleted, and I was like, okay, well, fuck you. And then I was like, okay, next step, I'm going to go to the official Reddit. I made a Reddit account just to post about why the Anniversary was a problem. Not only was my post deleted by the mods, I got banned from the subreddit. So then I went to the Discord. I did not get banned, but the slow mode did not let me say anything, because at the time they had Discord on lockdown. Then I was like, okay, next point I went to something. I tried literally everything I could to put my piece out there, and eventually the only option left was YouTube. You probably see where this is going. My first video was a video about Anniversary, and I literally said in that video, like, I don't plan on being a content creator. I just wanted to complain, and it was like an 18-minute video of me explaining why Anniversary was an issue, and the audio quality was horrible because I was using like a cheap, literally the mic on my computer is like a decade old. I'm not even kidding, my computer is like 10 years old, and it was horrible. But I guess people liked it, whether it be the fact that I was being honest and I was being real, or maybe because I was complaining. I got 50 subscribers in that first video, and 3 weeks later, I started making videos, and people wanted to hear what I had to say. And now I'm a YouTuber, and I hate it every single day.
Mine's pretty simple. I've always wanted to do YouTube ever since I was like 15. So like 13 years. You can even look how old my YouTube channel is. I just like to make people laugh. Somehow, some way, I don't know how, but I turned into an informational / news channel. Not my fault, your fault. But I originally started YouTube just to make people laugh, and that's why I still do it. Because I love doing it, and that's all it is. Genshin's literally just because it's the easiest thing that helped me grow. That's it.
Yeah. If I'm gonna be honest, if I didn't have a community, I would have dropped YouTube a while ago. Because there is commitment to it. Like, you actually gotta kind of try. And if I didn't have the community I had, I probably would have stopped a while ago. Because it's not that it's not fun. It's just like I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff going on. So I mean, I like Genshin. I like the community, and I like complaining. So it's nice.
Who else? Anybody else?
I was about to say,
There's only 4 of us, isn't there?
That's pretty much it. Let's chat. Do you have anything to say to us or whatever? Now's the time.
It's like, Soul, fuck that guy. He keeps
Forever hold
interrupting
your
me.
peace.
Yeah, 37 minutes ago, you said this one sentence, and I take particular issue with that.
Yeah, they wrote it down.
Was Rosaria the last truly
Actually,
great
it says right
forest?
here on my notes that I've been taking down for your stream that 37 minutes ago you said this. You need to get a life. Okay, fuck you, guy.
Really great 4-star. No, Yunjin.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
Yunjin's
sit here and
a beast.
pretend Yunjin's not cracked out of her mind. Yunjin's insane.
He is a beast.
You just
So, no.
soul
Yunjin-
is suffering
Yunjin's
from
nuts.
this.
Everybody before Yunjin though, like Toma and them, yikes. Yunjin?
Goral's pretty nice though.
Oh yeah, I probably shouldn't read that one. Do you have dreams? Yes.
I mean, who doesn't? If you don't
I go
have
to sleep
dreams
every
in
night.
Genshin,
If you don't have
Well,
dreams in
where's the hope
Genshin,
at?
if you don't have dreams in Genshin,
you gotta have hope, dude. You gotta have a carrot at the end of the stick.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, for sure. Do you guys look at leaks? This is a good question. I don't.
Oh my god.
I used.
Dude,
Come
you're not.
on, man.
So
Come on.
I
That's
used.
what dreams are. That's what.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, all right,
Yes, I
all
look
right.
at
Yeah,
it.
man.
That's
But my dreams are about Beyonce, not Genshin.
I saw a comment the other day where somebody said that leakers are the reason why Genshin is horrible, and if people quit leaking things, then Mihoyo could actually put all their time into the game. And it was one of those
That's
comments that
a
are like,
whole lot of Mihoyo knows and just lets the leaks be at this point to generate hype and interest in their game. Because otherwise, think about 6 weeks of 2.5 and how dead it was. Think about that with no idea of what's coming.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
if Ayato is not the best unit, he carried 2.5.
it actually probably saves them money because they don't have to develop like a roadmap.
or also
You don't need to do as much
the problem
marketing
I had
either.
with that comment was the guy was like, so matter of fact, he was like, yeah, if people quit leaking things, then Mihoyo would be, then Mihoyo would actually make the game better because they wouldn't have to worry about that. And I'm just sitting here like, you do realize that there would be no player base if there weren't leaks, right? I wouldn't be playing this game if I didn't know. I wouldn't be playing this update if I didn't know what was coming. If I didn't have a very vivid dream about what's coming later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've got to have something to look forward to. Otherwise, this is probably the reason why I keep playing the games, because I have something to look forward to. I know what's coming. It's probably the reason why I'm so committed to it.
Yeah, I can understand why people like leaks. I used to look at them when I started the game up until like 1.6. Kazuha was the last unit I looked at leaks for. And I'm not gonna lie, I just stopped looking at leaks because the anticipation it's like painful for me, and I kept getting frustrated. Like when Kazuha came out, for instance, I saw the potential immediately of his kit, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's gonna be cracked. He's gonna be so good. Everyone's gonna want him. And then everyone's like, nah, Venti's better. And I was like, no, but you don't understand. Like, he boosts
Dude,
damage.
I
pay
saw that.
attention.
I was defending the hell out of Kazuo. They're like, more expensive sucrose. I'm like, dude, you guys are. You can
I
go
did
back and
not-
look.
Yeah.
I was
I did
defending the
not-
hell out of Kazuo.
Yeah, and like he was my first C6 5-star, and Shenhe's my only other. I mean, I love these units, these sub DPS like supports kind
I
of
love
things.
Supports.
Yeah.
Supports are my cup of tea. I like supports.
Yeah, me
I
too.
just don't pay
DPS come and go.
attention.
DPS will get power crept. There's always gonna be a better DPS. Supports don't go anywhere.
I did not pay attention to the Kazuha leaks at all coming up to his release. I literally was barely playing the game, and I saw, like, to put in perspective how much I didn't care, I saw leaks or leak videos about him. Valk literally made one, and I didn't. I just ignored it because I didn't care. And then he came out, and I played him. I played one game, and it was his elemental skill was what made me get him. And I was saving wishes because I was saving for Raiden Shogun. And I literally put them all in the Kazuha and won the 50-50 and got him. And then, like, quit playing the game for a while, and then came back in 2.0, and turns out, oh yeah, by the way, he's meta. And I guess while we're all talking about leaks, that Yulin being a bow user is not a leak. That's shown in the game currently. There's like 3 cutscenes with her. She uses a bow.
Yeah, I haven't done the story quest yet because I'm waiting for my community to kind of get through them so I don't spoil it. So I wasn't. My bad. I wasn't aware of that.
How about this next question? Do you think healing will get the same treatment as shielding is getting right now? If so, then what do you think would be implemented? That's the thing, though. Healing was getting that treatment when shields became a thing. Shields made healing irrelevant.
Yeah, if healing gets too strong, they'll just make more Raiden Shogun mechanics where you just get one shot if you don't do it right, or if you don't have like a big beefy shield. Like, I know that one's just a straight one shot, but they'll just add bigger hits.
I'm sorry, what is a straight one shot?
The Raiden Shogun
sword
weekly boss, if you don't put up the shield.
Oh yeah, she one shots you even if you. I think you mean like. I think you mean like the shield bubble. But like,
the shield bubble. But like Magu Kenki, for instance, I feel like no healer can keep up. If you get hit by every slash, no healer can keep up. Can Chi-Chi keep up or?
Chi-Chi
can out heal anything.
Yeah, Chi-Chi, right now. Dude, I say this all the time. Chi-Chi, it makes you immortal. When I first started playing the game, the wolf, it didn't matter how weak I was. Chi-Chi, she heals too much. Like, she literally makes it impossible to die.
Yeah, well, basically they'd make a boss that can do like 50,000 damage, like just above anyone's natural like possible HP pool, and then like if you don't have a shield to meet that, then rip or something.
Or they can just do what they're doing now and just fuck your shield. I'm just gonna ignore it.
Right.
I don't think healing will need to worry too much because right now, if anything, healing's kind of getting its heyday. But once we get content that doesn't require a healer, shields come right back.
Yeah, but that's probably never going to happen because Rift Hounds seem to be a staple of the Abyss, which I hate. I think Rift Hounds are Rift Hounds and Heralds are the worst enemies they've ever added to this game. Rift Hounds because their hitboxes are so janky, and Heralds because they're just annoying. They just bottleneck you into playing a very specific way, and I hate that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I was looking through to see if we had any other good ones. I'm not really seeing too much. Thoughts on Ayato? I think he's pretty dang good. He's flexible.
He's a weaker Child.
I think that he's better in Freeze and Electro Charge than Child, but Child is better in Vape. So it's like, pick your whichever one.
Child's better at Taser too.
Man, Treesap, I would love to answer your question, but that takes a lot of time to answer.
I don't know if Child's better in every Taser situation. I think single target, Ayato pulls ahead.
Ayato's a better single target DPS than Child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Child's better in my opinion because, I mean, he's just been around for longer. Most people, if they want Child, they already have him. I think Aito, if they wanted him to be better than Tartaglia, they should have done a little bit more for him. The fact that he's even close and Child's been out for longer and Child has his own artifact set, I think that just makes Child better. Also, that new artifact set is garbage, by the way. Because you have to, it's supposed to be for Ayato, and you have to get lucky to get the hit, and then you have to be lucky to crit, and then you have to vape all at the same time. It's too much RNG, and I hate it.
That's why I kind of think Ayato is intended, like, especially with that set, not a vape unit. I don't think Ayato is good for vape teams. Maybe on field a little,
damage.
But yeah, but like raw damage with electro charge or yeah, it's pretty okay. I like him. I think he's real. I think that Ayato is more friendly for free to play and casuals than Child, because you literally just hit E, hold, button, go, burr. You know, like, and Child, you have to manage your uptime. Like if you stay in his stance too long, you're gonna destroy yourself.
Not even the what is it, his signature set or something. By the time that buff wears off, and by the time the arrows are gone, you just turn it off and swap out. Oh.
Yeah.
Not really.
Well, yeah, but like there's people that don't pay attention to that stuff. They just press E and then they don't really pay attention, and then 15 seconds pass and now they screwed up their rotation. But with Iato, that's just not even possible.
They'll learn the hard way.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like we should probably wrap up because I gotta go. Like,
No
Been
problem,
a
man.
2.5-hour podcast. This is a record for me.
Yeah,
oh
no.
yeah. I mean, like, I'm not gonna try and start another conversation.
Yeah,
I mean, at least we didn't have to do most of the talking, though.
yeah. Well, hey,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I appreciate you guys being here, though. I know that you guys did double duty today. It's super nice having everyone. Yeah, we'll plan the next one and get it set up and everything. I'll announce it. I'm sure we'll all announce it on our own whatevers or whatever. But
Yep.
yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Let's get the heck out of here. Thanks everybody for being here. Like the video if you haven't already as you leave. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, shameless plug. Also subscribe to Valk, Soul, and Final Flame. Are you still posting actively?
Yeah, he's got a new channel.
Okay, can you link your new channel in the? I don't actually have your new channel. Subscribe.
We are professionals here at the Flowcat podcast. We know all about our co-hosts.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Totally vetted. You know, like long application process too. Like
By the way, you
got
got donations and you didn't even acknowledge them. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
No, I know Sanzu and Lei talk through super chats a lot, but I said in the first podcast, and I don't. I guess I didn't repeat it this time. I'll repeat it. Yeah, during the podcast when we're active in a discussion, I'm not going to interrupt 7 people who are talking about a heated discussion or an interesting topic just to thank someone for $5. If you want to super chat me and get your thing read, wait till the end, like we have at the end the chat sections. So, but I do appreciate all the donations. You know, thank you Sanzu and Lei. You're also my flow whales. So thank you for supporting my content.
We should probably throw this out there before we truly end. I do apologize for interrupting y'all and talking for so long.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Good. I was doing the same thing.
We got.
All right, so where am I supposed to throw this thing?
You just toss it in chat or whatever. I'll pin it for
All right. Toss it in chat. You get me.
and I'll just go ahead and pin it. That way everyone can subscribe to you. And I'm gonna do that too. All right.
Oh, I think the bot said no.
Oh really? Here.
Yeah.
Can you
It's
just?
all good, baby.
All right.
I'll just DM it to you.
Yeah, DM it to me, and I'll put it in my announcement for the next podcast.
Okay, man.
All right.
Wait, oh. Did you the wrong thing though?
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Yeah, man, it was fun. Really appreciate being on here.
Yeah.
Why are we're no longer live?
I'm ending it now. The preview. I hate